we should talk about what happened last time we played and get into this. Does anybody remember where we started?
We picked up right after we had killed the Chimera at the temple. And we walked into town where we saw mostly just like ghostly figures mindlessly going about their business. Didn't seem to have like any thought or anything behind them. We also ran into a skeleton who was selling some wares.
Sam Plotkins.
Sam Plotkins. He had an hourglass that would just endlessly fall that I traded the Chimera tail for. I went back and ripped it off the body and dragged it down to him and traded for the hourglass. And then he also told us a bit of information about what was going on in the town, how the Harlows had hoarded... Wait, was that the blacksmith that told us that the Harlows hoarded all of the food?
That was the blacksmith.
Yeah, okay. Sam told us about the people in town who might still be able to be talked to, like the weeping woman in white and the blacksmith. He did tell us that the Harlow's estate was there.
Yeah, he told you guys, he warned you about the Harlows.
Yeah. And then I forget, somebody else got something from him. I forget what, though. And who.
Did I buy something from him? I feel like I might have.
Did Charlotte get the potion?
Oh yeah, somebody got
I didn't get the potion.
I think that Jensen.
I do have a potion. That's that because I wanted to study it because it was like he said it would turn people into like monsters, and I wanted to see if I could study it to figure out what's going on with the wildlife and shit.
And you had a cloak that you got.
Oh, that's right, the cloak too.
And I traded.
You just don't have info on them because you haven't figured out what they do.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I forgot about them.
You also have the glint, the dagger that glints. That you're not sure what that does either.
Yeah. Pulled out of the thing. Oh, the guy.
So make sure you're taking notes.
That I was wanting to melt down to make some spiked knuckle.
Yeah, I knew we were gonna find a pan or some shit.
Yeah. I also traded a revolver for 4 gold crowns, which is the currency that Sam was using in Old Lambeth.
Yeah.
Did Jensen trade his revolver to get his stuff?
I did. I do not have a revolver anymore.
Because he wasn't interested in our money.
No, he was not. He didn't recognize it. And we tried to persuade him, and none of us were successful.
We do not have a very charismatic party.
Yeah. Oh.
And after we did the shopping and talked to him, we, of course, did the best thing to do in any TTRPG, and we split the party.
I think splitting the party in this system is the way to go.
I mean, honestly, I never mind splitting the party. But me and Dare went and spoke to the blacksmith. And we got some information about the Harlows having, like, when everything went to shit and we got transported here, whatever, the Harlows stockpiled and hoarded all of the food and the water, left everybody else in the town to just kind of die. I asked him about making some spiked knuckle dusters. Oh, and Matt, I don't think I made it clear last week, but my goal wasn't to get more damage. It was just to be able to change my damage type if I wanted to. To like piercing, or slashing.
Got it.
So he told me if I could get him some iron and could get his forgery lit, he could make those for me. Is there anything else? I think that was about all he told us, because he wasn't a very happy sort.
Before all of you split up, Miss Price tested the woodlands and found that they seemed to always go back to the town.
Right.
Some kind of like... The town has been like caged in this realm. This phase.
We learned that from the guy that me and that Jensen and Miss Pierce went up to, right? And
Plotkins.
Max.
Well, Plotkins was like
the guy that was up at the manor. Yeah, the grave.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so.
No, it was the skeletal salesman, because we were all there when she walked off, and
you didn't really like learn that from him so much as he was like laughing and saying like, go ahead and try and leave, and then she was like, all right, I'll try, and it didn't work, and then he just laughed somewhere, but he wasn't being particularly helpful. The two of you did, and while they were at the blacksmith, go up and meet the gardener that was behind the gate. There were some details about that gate that I should have given you that I didn't. So you guys noticed that gate required some kind of key to enter. Also, you noticed the closer you got to it, the more loudly it seemed to hum with some kind of magical something. It's not your standard gate.
Sure. He told us a lot about the warden.
Grey Warden.
The Grey Warden. Yeah, he told us more details about him breaking in but not coming back out, and what that could mean. And he was pretty much like, yeah, if you break in, you're never coming out. And we're like, okay, well,
He also said the Grey Warden's days were numbered.
Yeah.
Implying that they have him and they're doing something, or have them and doing something to them.
And that they're still alive currently.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think we got anything else from there. From them.
No, that guy was pretty useless.
Very convinced that we were gonna meet our demise.
He did not seem to like your chances of leaving.
Yeah.
And then we all met back up at the inn and talked to the woman in white, who told us about how her son had been turned into a monster. She broke down crying about how she couldn't save him and just ran away. And there was a bunch of fungus growing everywhere that seemed to pulse with some magic.
There was also a banner showing the symbol of the Socratian Order.
There was, which came in handy later.
I also pulled a dagger that's like glinting in light that I think is magical out of the skeleton that was on the spit above the fire, right, or some shit.
I believe Max's dragon glass proved that it was magical. You're just not sure what it does.
Right. But yeah. And then I proceeded to try to use it on the moss and didn't really do anything.
Well, they cut the moss.
You cut it.
I cut it
through.
But it was like almost like pulsating with like some kind of energy, and it was like growing back, I think, like, fairly quickly. And we decided that we should just face what's downstairs. What? We kind of just made the decision.
You found a note.
Yeah, we found a note that had a like riddle on it. Charlotte had it. Yeah. It spoke of like the light, having to show it the light or something. So then V had the idea that, the Socratian banner had a sun on it. So he went back and got the banner and rolled it up. And then we went down into the basement, and we found a giant fucking wolf monster thing with a bunch of extra limbs and nastiness.
Very clearly where the fungus came from.
It was covered in the fungus. And so Charlotte
It was the Stellar Beast.
Stellar Beast.
It wasn't Bloodborne inspired at all.
Nope. Didn't give any vibes of that whatsoever.
Nah, none whatsoever.
Charlotte, Dare, and Shaw? Is that Jesse's character? Max. I knew Shaw sounded wrong. Max found a hole in the wall that they all went through while V and Jensen held off the Cellar Beast.
Which was
that was a project.
Knocked us both out at one point.
Yeah, I went from full health to unconscious in a single fucking hit.
Yeah.
We did everything we could to limit it. I put the banner in its mouth and rode it for a second, and then it tore through the banner, and then we got a barrel over it.
Whoa, before you got the barrel over it, Jensen pulled out his secret weapon, filled the bear trap.
I did.
Oh, yeah, filled the bear trap.
Yeah. I filmed his first appearance.
Yeah, caught his paw in it. So the first turn we had both the banner in its mouth and its paw trapped, which was very useful because it could only break one of those things.
Yup.
Yeah. Which it went for the trap first, and then it got out of the other one the next turn.
Yeah.
While I was on its back, the vines moss thing immediately started growing over me, which was unpleasant. Didn't do anything, but it was just an unpleasant thought.
Wow, we found a crack in the wall, the cellar wall that was big enough to get most of us to get through. You guys found that puzzle.
It's a ritual circle.
The ritual circle, yeah.
And there were some empty vials, and a note saying that the transformation was not reversible unless 4 vials of its blood were returned to the ritual circle with all the runes in the right spots.
And there were
so
2 syringes.
And 2 of the little blood letter things. I worked on getting the runes in the right spot, and Dare and Max went to get blood from the creature. And Max pulled out an invisibility spell, which was very helpful.
Yeah, they did great too. 2-3 turns, 2-3 rounds.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a mechanic on that where if you rolled your minimum dice on the roll, it would break the syringe. And they didn't roll
something like that.
They didn't roll their minimum dice a single time.
Bummer. And I found out that one of the runes was likely inside the beast's mouth.
Oh, that's right.
Or stomach. So you guys had to kind of
right. I slashed him open, and we found it lodged in the rib cage or something. Right?
Yeah, it was in its stomach intestines, and you had to pull it out.
Yeah.
Dare did have to take a round from drawing blood to revive me because that was the round I got one-shotted in. But Max finished drawing the blood in that round, and then they got it back to... When I came to, I reached up, grabbed the rune, shoved it into Dare's hands, and then went back to fighting the beast while him and Max ran back, and they managed to complete the ritual right before I jumped into its stomach, which probably would have killed him when he turned back into, a kid. So that was probably a good thing.
Yeah. And then the ritual circle became unstable, I think. So we kind of just had to get it out of there.
Oh, but yeah, we had a fail.
We just picked up the kid and went up the stairs.
Yeah, and you I believe we ended with you guys reaching the top of the stairs as the rumble from below. You guys closed the hatch door in time. Yeah, you're currently holding a unconscious, pale, scrawny 6-year-old child.
Is there anything about him that would indicate that he's not actually alive? Is he like ethereal?
No, he's breathing.
Breathing? Okay. Wait, Doc.
What?
Can you do something?
How? The woman in white's hovering by the tavern bar, the wood bar. She's hovering there, staring, kind of confused, awestruck a bit. You survived.
We were able to reverse the process. It seems that he is mostly unharmed. Doctor?
So, set me down. I will take a look.
Could make a formal sciences. Or it could be either formal or natural sciences, actually. This is against a target number of 6.
16.
Oh, wow. Okay. The child's alive. They're breathing, but breathing shallowly. They need warm blankets, fresh water, and food.
Can I take off one of my heavy coats?
Yeah.
A coat and just kind of drape it around, tuck it in. You know, try to get the heat in, keep the heat in.
I'll relay all that while I'm
Well,
keeping them warmed up.
I can't believe it. The door has been pushed wide at the tavern entrance, and Sam Plotkins is standing there. Is that a human babe?
Mr. Plotkins, I don't know if you're aware of any unspoiled food in this town.
I've got some old cabbage soup.
We need something a bit more fresh.
I think that the Rangers gave you guys rations before you entered the wood.
I was going to say, we should have some rations.
That's true.
But you guys are probably fairly certain that you're going to need to be breaking into your rations for the kid.
I mean, I'll give them some online. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, you're just setting it out right now.
Yeah.
Because he is unconscious. His sleep is pretty deep. You're expecting him to be unconscious for a while. Sorry.
I will need to monitor him for quite some time. And we should not leave him alone, regardless.
Max crosses his arms. I hadn't necessarily thought it was going to be a good idea to stop here for an extended period of time. Now that we've got this child, don't you think we need to be figuring out a way out of here quickly before something happens to him?
I think the only way to get out of here is to move forward. It seems like, as Miss Price found out, we can't leave. We gotta solve the whole puzzle.
I suppose we could take turns resting in here, keeping an eye on the child, while the others continue to look around the town and see what we can find out. Obviously not getting into too much trouble.
Looking around town. How's that been going for y'all?
Oh, it's been wonderful.
He'll nod. Well, I think I'll just plop down here in the tavern. He'll find one of the seats and one of the stale drinks and start attempting to drink it. It just runs down the inside of his skeleton. I can taste it just for a second.
Jensen's gonna purposely keep an eye on him for as long as he's in here.
Okay. But you can make insight rolls on him.
When you said that, I just thought of a White Claw, how it barely has a taste for a second.
All alcohols are White Claws to you when you're a skeleton.
Yeah, can I make an insight check on him? See if he's
Sure, any of you can.
I'm going to study that painting we saw of the huntsman. And his dog.
Of Harlan Wood and Doug.
Yeah, I just want to see if there's any details I could pick out about it that maybe I didn't notice before. Because I feel like it's relevant.
I got 7.
He seems fairly ambivalent to your guys' situation, or really the child being there. He doesn't seem like he wants to hurt the child or anything. He's kind of like more like curious about them.
Okay, cool. I'm not too tense then. I would have like untensed myself a little bit.
The woman in white's like hovering in a sitting position right next to the babe, and she kind of turns and she looks at you, Doctor, and she says, "I won't let anything happen, Sam. Not again."
Well, I will be close by as well.
Hey, Bats, can you start fires?
Well, let's see. Let me check Max's sheet for you.
I'm hoping he can, so that I can get the forge started and I can get the blacksmith working.
Didn't we establish that someone in this party has a lighter? I remember us talking about whether lighters existed at this point or not.
Oh, that's right.
We did.
We at the very least
Max does have a lighter, but he doesn't have any like magical means to create fire or control it. He mostly uses telekinesis. I don't know if you've noticed.
I had kind of noticed that.
It's just like throwing things at things.
I had noticed that, but I've been hoping that maybe he had like a little fire spark or something.
Telekinesis is like pretty utilitous. So, whereas the one that's like explosive objects or whatever is like just for damaging things. So I think that's why he took it. Jesse likes being utilitous.
Makes sense.
I could try to help you though. I do have this, and he flicks the lighter out, and it kind of like sparks, and it's like a little extra. It's not like a normal lighter. It's like a magician's lighter.
Perfect. Let's go see the blacksmith, and I'll go grab the spit. You said that was iron, right?
Yes.
Would that? Do I think that'd be enough?
Yeah, it's more than enough. You're bringing him extra as a gift at this point.
Sweet.
Max will nod, and he'll kind of like flip his hat up on his head and look to the rest of you and say, "Don't get eaten by anything coming out of the dark." And then he'll exit out the door behind
Same
V.
to you.
What are the rest of you doing?
I'm fucking exhausted. I'm gonna nod off right here in this seat.
Yes, get some rest, Johnson. You've earned it.
Sorry,
you should as well. But yes, please keep one eye on the child. After all, you are the most equipped.
are the two of you attempting long rests? That'd be like 6 to 8 hours.
No, I don't think we can afford to do that.
Okay.
Short rest though, guy. Yeah, I want to like doze, but I'm also keeping an eye on the kid.
Okay.
Like, I'm gonna be kind of look like it's gonna look familiar when I did that outside the maze in Lambeth Hollow, and I watched the guys.
All right.
Charlotte,
Charlotte, what are you doing? You can go check out the inn. You want to go meet them at the blacksmith?
Yeah, I wanted to look at that painting again in more detail, and then I kind of just wanted to look around the tavern because I feel like this place was probably a hub for this town, so there's probably some info on what happened here.
Looking around the tavern, you don't find much info directly on what happened here. You do, however, find a painting. What'd you get on the study roll?
Why didn't we?
The target number for the study roll on the painting is a 15.
Yeah, I'm going to use the magnifying glass so it's easy.
You could also use momentum to make it even easier.
That's true, I could do that. I got a 15.
Okay. Hey, you know, it's right. Sometimes it works, James.
Sometimes it works.
There's a couple things you notice. One thing you notice is that at the back of the painting, in a field, there are several scarecrows that all seem to have the same uncharacteristic smile. This detail doesn't seem consistent with the rest of the painting.
Like, it looks like maybe it was done at a different time, or like it was
Maybe.
edited.
But if it was done at a different time or edited by somebody else, it appears that they would have found a way to use like the exact same materials. It's not like somebody just drew over it, like messily. Like, it fits into the painting, but it doesn't seem consistent with the painting.
Gotcha. Am I able to like remove the painting from the wall and look at the back of it?
Yeah.
I'll even like take the painting out of the frame if it's in one.
Well, when you lift it off and you turn it around, you notice that the backer for the painting was at some point knifed, like a big X to cut it open. So somebody has already pulled this out once before. You also notice that there appears to be a second painting that's been rolled up or like folded up and placed behind it.
Yeah, I'm taking that out.
Okay. You pull that out, and when you open it up, you see that it's not so much a painting as a very old map. It shows it's all hand drawn and very simply drawn on like a papyrus material. It shows the town square with the fountain structure, and it's surrounded by only 4 buildings: the blacksmith, the tavern, the inn, the tavern, the schoolhouse, and then in the distance, Lambeth Manor. It doesn't even show the blacksmith.
Yeah, I'll take that out, put it on a table, and just kind of spread it out, put some heavy things on it to keep it open. Does the back of the actual painting look like the spots where the scarecrow faces were? Is it like any different?
They are stained in that area.
Okay. Do I recall seeing any scarecrows when we were passing through town?
No, but the fields aren't really there because the creeping trees are everywhere.
Okay.
So it's hard to see if the scarecrows are still out in that general area because there's a bunch of trees there now, like the creeping trees that are kind of like all around the buildings, making it feel all claustrophobic. That you feel like that is not the natural landscape, like the town was like ripped up and placed here or something. Because like this place is, the inherent things of this place are like the trees and stuff.
Am I able to recognize the spot where like the scene of the painting is? Like, did I see that spot coming into the town? I remember you said like he's under a tree. Like, have I seen that specific tree with all that stuff in the background?
Yes.
Okay.
But where those fields are in the painting, like where you pass, that was just the darkness and the tree clusters.
Okay.
It wasn't a field anymore.
Okay.
So it is possible there's some freaky scarecrows out in the trees.
Yeah. She's gonna make a mental note to try to find that spot again where like he was standing under that tree. For next time we go out. But yeah, I'll just be studying the map and trying to see if there's anything I can glean from like where the buildings are in relation to each other, whether it matches how the town is currently laid out.
Make another study roll for me. The target number for this one is a 20.
Okay. It's gonna be, well, I'll use the magnifying glass if I can.
You can.
So
that would drop it to a 17.
17. Okay, and then I will use the momentum on that one.
All right. Party, 1 momentum is being used.
Let's go.
Can't wait till he uses that to fuck us over later.
Oh, damn. 12.
12. You've studied it for some time. You do feel like there's something important about this map. But, like, enough that you should keep it with you, but it doesn't seem to be garnering you any more details to help you moving forward.
Okay. Before I roll it up and, like, put it in my bag, I'll, like, kind of hold it up to some light and just see if anything shines through it or, you know.
Yeah, actually, it does. That's what you missed.
Oh, okay.
But since you just said you were going to do it, I think that works too. When you hold it up to the light, specifically when you hold it up and you turn it around, so the drawing of the map is facing the light, you see on the back side there's a glowing red ink connecting ritual sites. One from each building, each of them linking back up to the manor.
Gotcha. I'm gonna take out some paper and kind of like sketch my own version of this map, just in case I lose this one. But yes, I will make a note of that, and I will make sure to show Dr. Waltz when he has a couple minutes to spare, just so that I'm not the only one who is aware of these.
You could call him over to the table. He's nearby.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Dr. Waltz. You hear her call from the table as she's holding the light with the map.
It would seem that I found some odd connections between these places. Do you see these red lines here?
Yes, I do.
Looks as though there's more than one ritual circle, or at least ritual sites. I think it would be pertinent to locate these sites and see what lies at them. They do all lead back to the manor, at least.
As you say that, he'll like, Jensen will kind of like shoot up and be like, more ritual sites, and so like open his eyes and more alert.
Hopefully not with more beasts. Perhaps these ones will be simpler.
Sorry, Doctor. I realize I just cut you off.
It's quite alright. Do you think these lines represent a, for lack of a better word, magical connection to the manor, or a physical tunnel?
When we visited the front gate of the manor earlier, there was a distinct hum on that very gate that I think might be connected to some things. It's possible that one must shut down all these ritual sites in order to open the front gate, or at least release whatever enchantment is on it.
But it is definitely something worth looking into.
Matt, how many of these sites does it show?
There is one at the tavern, there is one at the chapel, there is one at the inn, and then they all lead up to one that is marked like at the manor, the center of the manor.
Do we think there's gonna be some kind of runic setup like down in the cellar here?
It's quite possible, although to protect themselves, it's possible they could have used different forms of magic in order to protect their sites. But I think it also stands to reason that they may have gone with whatever they had. So we should certainly expect something similar to what we just experienced.
I would rather not.
Well, that is the hope.
That little boy throws quite the tantrum. Yes, I think we should go look. What about that chapel though? The chapel is blown to bits. Go find that.
Well, before we move on, Jensen, how are you feeling?
You know, out of character, I think it reset me. I was definitely not unharmed in that fight.
I thought that you had taken a couple wounds and then he patched you up.
I've only used one patch up and it was on V.
Okay. Well,
I don't remember. I remember being pretty
hurt. Okay,
yeah.
Let's put you at half health then.
Okay. Yeah. I'll like look down at my arms and and look down at the pull his pants up a little bit and show the bruise that's getting on his shin, and say, "Well, I'm okay, but like I said, I'm gonna doze off a little bit more. I think before I get into more scrums."
Well, if you would prefer, I could look you over.
If you got time and the resources, I would.
Well, there's not much else I could do for the boy right now.
Yes. Look away.
At the very least, take the opportunity to set a spell while the others get their business done at the smith.
Yeah. I'll show you,
go
I'll turn and you'll see a big gash down the back of my arm that I didn't even make you aware of because I probably can't even feel it because it's still numb or something.
I think you will feel this. Just bite down on something. I'm gonna patch him up.
Plop down on a table. Try not to plop down too hard.
Oh no, that's only a 4. You heal 2 wounds then.
Okay, that's helpful.
It's pretty good.
6 is pretty good. Well, that does feel. Ow, god damn.
Yes, you are going to feel that for a while.
I didn't notice that one before. Thanks, Doc.
You've done what I could for now.
Well, Jensen, if you'd prefer some of my own healing touch, if it were, I might be able to supply you with some.
Well, I'm okay right now. Let's save it. I think we got a little might amount of time here still. I'll be okay. I am curious about going. We should start checking out the rituals. So
as soon as our friends get back, we should head out.
Cutting to your friends, Max enters along with UV. Gunnar, the smithy, he shifts back and forth, and he's looking about for something that he can't seem to find, and he looks up and he sees you. Ah, it's you! I hadn't expected you back at all. Did you find iron?
I'll hold up the spit roast.
Perfect. There seems to be a bit of a problem. And you notice at this point that his hammer is on the ground. I seem to have, lost the last of my ability to manipulate. I could instruct you, but you would need at least one more person.
I am along.
Yes, but you'll need a third.
Oh. Okay.
The flame must be stoked, the bellows must be worked, and then the metal must be struck.
I'll go outside. We're not far from the tavern, right?
Be like shouting across the courtyard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna shout for Jensen.
Inside of the tavern, all of you hear.
There's something happening outside.
Was that coming from outside? You got better hearing than me, Doc.
Jensen.
Oh well, now that sounded like my name.
You gonna get up and walk to the door?
Yeah. I'll push myself up and back.
As you get to the door and you open it and you step outside, you see across the courtyard as V's yelling.
I'll just wait as I see him come outside.
I'll hold up a hand. I'll poke my head back inside and be like, V needs me for something. I'll be back.
Stay safe, Jensen.
Yeah, and I'll walk over there with purpose.
You see the rest of them inside, and you see for the first time Gunnar the Smithy, a portly ghost.
Well, pleasure to meet you, blacksmith.
We need a third person.
Oh,
pleasure to meet you too. My name's Gunnar. Thank God my parents didn't name me blacksmith. The blacksmith would be ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. You know, there's an old myth about something. about that myth was Farmer, the son of Farmer.
Oh,
You ever heard that children's story?
Wipeout. Oh man, what a reference!
That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Would have been really weird if you didn't even become a blacksmith.
Yes.
Oh,
Blacksmith, the cook would have been just confusing.
Yeah. Yes. I'm going quite mad. Are you going mad?
I've been mad for a while, I think.
Well, anyways, and Maximilian will head to stoke the flames because he has the lighter. To stoke the flames, he needs to pass a sleight of hand or formal sciences roll. Whoever's working the bellows needs to pass an athletics roll, and whoever's working the metal needs to pass a athletics roll and also pass a formal sciences or sleight of hand roll.
So I'm good at athletics.
I'm passable at formal sciences. I have a 2 in my wisdom.
I have a 1 to my wisdom. I have a 2 to my agility, but a 0 to sleight of hand. So I don't know if that would be.
I have a 3 and a 0 in agility.
So you probably have a better chance of sleight of hand.
Yeah, I also have 4 brawn and 2 in athletics.
I have 4 brawn and 2 in athletics as well.
Okay,
so
yeah, I will do.
So you're probably the best hammer wielder.
Yeah,
the agility and sleight of hand, and I'm probably the best fire stoker. Was that my job?
I think
no,
Max
you're the
Bellows.
The bellows. Yeah, I'm the bellows.
All right, we ready to try this? Well, I've never done this before, but I have watched many a smith do it, so let's try.
Gundar said he'd walk you through it.
Oh, excellent, Gunnar.
Yeah, and Gunnar begins barking out and bellowing to all of you as you guys attempt to work it. And go ahead and make your first rolls. Well, only one person has 2 rolls.
9.
Oh, no.
You got a 9 on your athletics. Oh, I apologize. Really quick. You don't need anything. Max doesn't need any help. He will be able to stoke the flames based on his roll. Your target number to beat on the athletics roll is a 10. I should have told you that before you started.
So, is that Josh's you're talking about?
That's Josh's.
Okay.
I mean, knowing that now, I would want to spend.
That's fine. I should have told
But
you.
I didn't. I probably wouldn't have, even if you had told me before, though, which is...
I'll let you do it retroactively, even though you normally can't, because I should have told you the target number, or you can choose to fail if you want.
Would we have chosen to get? Yeah. Would we have actually chosen to even know it?
No, what I'm telling him is you don't need to worry about that. I should have told you the target number, so you can use it retroactively if I make that mistake. Okay. So if you want to, you can. Okay, so you passed as well. Your athletics roll you need to pass is a 6 for working the metal, and the sleight of hand is a 7.
I did a sleight of hand first. I'm sorry, but I got exactly a 7.
Okay, so you passed that one, and then it's a 6 on athletics as well.
Athletics, okay. D12, D8. Seven.
All
Did I get
right.
a 6? We're good?
Nope, you're good.
I did not roll very well, but we passed.
You passed.
We did it.
So, with the instructions of Gunnar and the 3 of you working together, you are able to make V a set of spiked knucks. So what these knucks do is they make it so your unarmed attacks can be piercing also. So you choose when you do your attack if you want it to be bludgeoning or piercing.
Sweet.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Well, looky here, Mr. V.
I've never made anything quite like it.
I'll put him on. Perfect. Yes.
Oh, you do look a bit more formidable.
Thank you for your help, Gunnar.
Sure thing. He gets a little more incorporeal. Sorry, I think I'm losing track of time.
Well, now I can add being a blacksmith to my hunting resume. I appreciate it. We'll help you as much as we can while we're here.
I don't think we've got much longer to help him, unfortunately.
I'll put your final creation to good use and end the Harlows.
Gunnar's stare gets a little blank. His head cocks to the side just as he's about to respond to you, and then he just starts to kind of aimlessly drift off.
I think that is our cue to take our leave. And I'll step out of the way so the other two can leave first.
Okay. The three of you head back into the courtyard.
I'll head back to the tavern.
Yeah.
The party regroups in the tavern. Those of you in the tavern who are poring over the map and the connection on the backside would notice that V has a new pair of spiked knuckle dusters. And he's ready to dust.
Fitting more well-equipped V. Certainly look the part.
I think these will serve me well.
And I certainly would not want to stand in your way with those.
It's good to hear, V. The Doctor and I have found new weapons of our own, as it were. I've found an old map that seems to show a couple of other ritual sites linked to the Harlow Manor. I think once we're ready to set out, I think we should check out these other two ritual sites and see what we can do to close them. I think that might open the front gate to the manor, and then we can, well, I suppose proceed inside in some way.
We take a short rest first.
I think it would be good for us all to get a little bit of rest before we set out, yes.
Cool. That little kid fucked me up.
As all of you attempt these short rests, go ahead and make willpower tests for me. This is against a target number of 10.
Shit. Oh, I can pass that. Okay.
I cannot pass a 10.
Can.
That is an auto fail from the good doctor.
Oh, but we didn't get it. We got a 5.
Oh shit. I got a 5. 2d8 and I got a 5.
Oh wait, no, it's resolve. I could pass it if I roll max.
I got...
Do it.
Let me make sure I did this right.
I could have passed it rolling far
I did
less
not.
than max.
I got an 8.
Oh, god damn it.
Every single one of you is unable to resist the urge to softly drift off to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You fall asleep as well.
Sweet. I finally get that long rest I've been needing for a
You
long
finally
time.
get the long rest. And that is what happens. All of you wake up 8 hours later, having taken a long rest. There's a moment of eerie silence as all of you are kind of opening your eyes and observing each other. The rest didn't feel good. Yes, mechanically it aided all of you, but all of you feel uncomfortable, tired, a heavy weight on your shoulders. Dare, that is when you notice something that brings you out of your chair. The woman in white is gone, and the child is missing. Everything else about the inside of the tavern seems just as it was. Except for one thing. Sitting on the chair, where you had laid the child to rest, the bench by the window, you see a familiar mask. The same mask that fell when a mysterious stranger warned all of you to leave Lambeth Hollow for good.
Is this the one who, like, crumpled and disappeared?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna shoot up, noticing the boy is gone, looking around, and see the mask. I'll grab it and just like slam it down on the table to wake everybody else up if they're just like slowly rousing.
The rest of you kind of jump awake more. You see the broken mask.
The boy is gone.
Where the fuck to get that?
Another problem to take care of, I suppose.
It was over there.
I don't remember any of us agreeing to fall asleep.
And I certainly don't feel like I slept much.
I didn't even know I could sleep.
This does not bode well. I suggest we gather our things and our wits and take a look outside to see if anything has changed.
Yes. I'm gonna head outside.
Sure.
I'll go. I would like to look around the seat where he found the mask before I go outside.
I'm gonna put a
Sure.
hand on.
Do you want to do a study roll?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a hand on Dare's shoulder as he's getting ready to go out.
Target him
kind
is
of
12 on the study roll.
Pull him back
I
and
can't hit a
go out
12.
in front of him.
Okay. You can still roll just to see if you pick up anything else.
Seven.
There's really nothing else. The mask was definitely placed there on purpose to taunt you guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't
All right.
like mistakenly left behind.
We do get a long rest, like we get
Yep.
Take a wound back or get a wound
Yep. You do. A sanity as well.
back. We're
We only get one wound back on a long rest.
No, I think there's it's a dice roll.
Oh,
I think a long rest is like the largest dice roll. Am I wrong?
Roll d12 and remove that many
Yeah.
wounds from your health, and roll d12 again and remove that many wounds from your sanity.
oh.
Got it. Cool. Back up to full. Would I get to roll my d6 to see if I somehow
Holy
actually
shit.
got a better than?
Not on this one because it was a
Okay.
magical effect.
That's what I figured, but no harm in asking.
Wow. I only got one back of the two that I needed for my health, and I rolled a 12 on the one I needed nothing on. Great.
I didn't even roll the one I needed nothing
Oh, yeah.
on.
I should've-
Why'd
I
you
don't
taunt
know.
yourself, bro?
I don't know if anybody was benefiting from my rest lighting, but I absolutely did not set that up for this rest. So you have one less health if you were using that previously.
He'd given everyone more health with the rest lighting on the
Oh.
last rest. He has his battery pack convention thing.
Yeah.
I
All right.
didn't get a long rest the last time, so I hadn't benefited from it.
All right. Heading outside. At first, it seems like nothing has changed. That hanging, eerie silence, that quiet decay that eats away at this place. Cracks have formed along the cobblestones of the square. More moss has grown up the walls of the buildings. In the courtyard, there are now two large wrought iron and oak poles, each of them hanging a wrought iron cage. Inside of one, you see the skeletal form of Sam Plotkins. And inside another, you see the shallow, thrumming presence of the woman in white, somehow trapped in the iron.
Are they? Do they seem like aware or like conscious?
It's hard to tell.
I'm gonna go up and tap on their cages.
Sam Plotkins shifts when you tap on his cage. Whoa,
What happened?
well, the bishop came down from the manor. I have to admit, that has not happened in quite some time, and he seemed upset with me that I sold you that cabbage stew and those other things. I guess you all were on the embargo list. I had no idea. I tried to plead my case, but of course, here I am now.
What happened to the boy?
Oh, well, the bishop took him, obviously. We attempted to put up a fight. Her, especially, whose siren's call, I would imagine, would do quite a number on someone of your persuasion, but the bishop seemed to simply shrug off our attempts to prevent him. He is, his skeletal eye orifices kind of shift a little bit, animatedly, worriedly, terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look defeated at the ground.
Mr. Plotkins, have you any idea how to get into the manor? By any means.
No, I do not. I once tried to trade at the gate, but then the gardener yelled at me.
Did the bishop force us into this uncomfortable ass sleep we just had?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. When all of you decided to hold up, I was planning on going and seeing if I could restock my cart at the end, since inevitably you were going to head that direction, and I figured I should, try to take anything that isn't nailed down before you stake your claim on it, just like any good tradesman would. And it got quite dark, These are cursed lands. Yes. And, and then I ended up in this cage, after some very, very violent visions of my skin being ripped from my body, along with my sinew and muscle tissue and everything else that happened to me when I was turned into this. So.
Sorry you had to relive all that.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. It was horrible.
Well, with any luck, it won't happen again.
Yes, I'm sure all of you are going to do great work. And when I look at the doctor here, I can tell he's confident. He's going to literally point at him just staring at the ground.
I think we have... Go ahead.
Did the bishop seem weaker than the last time you saw him?
Weaker? You mean
or even just different?
Different, yes. He seemed unnatural.
Was he a ghost as well?
Oh, no. He was some kind of... He looks at you, Jensen. Monster.
Oh. Like a risen spirit, almost.
I have no idea. It was terrifying. Just the look in his eyes alone was unsettling.
I'll look at Jensen. Perhaps whatever magic they used on the boy was, pains me to say, practice for whatever the bishop may have done to himself in the pursuit of power.
You're right. I'm gonna kind of think about the potion that's in my pack right now.
But I think
we got somewhere to be. We gotta check these places out.
Mr. Plotkins, do you know of any basement in the old chapel?
I do believe that there is a place where the monks laid their own to rest beneath the chapel.
Catacomb of Souls.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes, whatever that word means, probably that.
And what about the inn? Is there a cellar? Is there as well?
Yes, the inn does have a cellar, I believe. But dibs, if I get out of this cage.
But we just down in the cellar of the inn.
We're in the
Was it
cellar
that
of
was-
the tavern.
I think that was the tavern. Yeah.
Different places. I'm sorry, my brain's still foggy. I must have been right in the middle of a dream cycle when we woke up.
Well, perhaps
Doesn't seem like he likes any of us down here except the school teacher.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a couple drops of laudanum, and then
Perhaps it
I'll
would be
look to
best-
you, Jensen. This will help with your foggy mind. I'm just gonna
Really?
tap the back of your arm where I like stitched up that big gash, so you get a shot of pain and maybe a little adrenaline.
Now, doctor.
It's fucked up. I like it.
Mm.
I know it hurts, but it will help your mind.
The shit makes your brain foggier. It's alright.
Do you want some laudanum?
No, I do not. I will be alright.
So where are we checking first?
Well, given that the inn is nearby, that is one place on our list. I think it might also be prudent to check out the schoolhouse. After all, it was on that old map that I found, and if Mr. Plotkin's here is correct, it seems like the school teacher might have a hand in all this. Assuming she is still here. And also here.
Yeah. I agree. Let's check out the inn.
Ah,
Jesse.
Maximilian himself.
Hello.
What up, Jeet? How you doing?
I mean, welcome.
Pretty good. How are you?
We're good. You helped make the spiked knuckle dusters at the blacksmith.
Oh, that was nice of me.
Yeah,
I was back, so.
good guy.
You make fire.
Hey, I didn't know I could do that.
I mean, you just did it with a lighter.
Oh, okay, well, it's a little less exciting.
All right, and now all of you are heading. Oh man, he's missed really a lot.
Yeah, we went pretty hard so far.
It's only been an hour, guys. Come on. Couldn't you,
I think
hold
you
yourself
guys
back
should.
a little bit?
I think you guys should just quickly summarize what
Yeah.
has happened for him.
We came up from the cellar with the kid.
Okay.
The doc inspected him, determined he was going to be out for a while.
All right.
Me and you went over to the blacksmith. Charlotte went and inspected the painting again. Ended up finding a map on it that showed other ritual sites that all linked back to the manor. We needed another person to make the knuckle duster, so we called Jensen over, who had originally stayed behind in the tavern. The blacksmith lost his last faculties and is now one of the mindless ghosts wandering around.
Poor guy.
We all went back to the tavern. We went to take a short rest. We all were put into a magically induced sleep.
You rolled willpower tests, and everyone failed.
Yep.
And you guys entered a magically induced sleep, and you guys have just woken up from an 8-hour rest. So you got an 8-hour rest, but now the child is missing. And Sam Plotkins and the woman in white are currently caged in medieval post cages in the courtyard.
We also found the mask from that guy that was below the town hall that told us we shouldn't stay in Lambeth Hollow. We found his mask. He left
And then
in
disappeared.
He left it on the bench where the child was sleeping.
Interesting.
So we just
And we
went to
found
talk.
out that was Bishop Harlow, supposedly.
Also, we rushed
Sam
outside and
Plotkins said Bishop Harlow came.
Yeah.
we just talked to Sam Plotkins, who's in that cage, because the bishop didn't like him selling us stuff. No, he's been punished. But now we're gonna hustle to
Bishop.
the other ritual sites because they have the kid and the Grey Warden, and we need to get into the manor ASAP.
Sam Plotkins warned you guys that Bishop Harlow liked the school teacher because he was leaving her alone.
And also, we believe the front gate to the manor is like enchanted, and so I think at least that breaking the ritual sites will break that enchantment.
I'm also
Sounds like a
hoping
reasonable
it'll weaken
conclusion.
the bishop in some way, shape, or form. But
Hopefully, yeah.
You guys could show that thing to Max now. Because technically the ritual drawings on the backside were like some kind of magical enchantment. So he might be able to make like an arcane, like a lore roll on it, or like inspect it somehow.
Yeah, I would have handed him that at some point.
So on one side of the map, Max, there's the courtyard. It's hand drawn on very, very old scroll paper, basically.
Okay.
And it's the courtyard with the fixture at the center. And then there's the schoolhouse, the inn, the tavern, the chapel, and the manor. And when you turn it over and you hold the drawing facing towards the light on the backside, lines start to appear in some kind of magical red ink, like a glowing ink. And they show ritual sites under each of the locations connecting and leading up to the manor, which also has a ritual site somewhere marked on it. You're not sure where it is in the manor.
Very interesting.
Charlotte found this by
inn.
checking the back of one of the paintings. So they were thinking, let's go to the inn first. Let's see if there is, in fact, a ritual site there. Figure out how to break it.
We also want to see if we can find the school teacher, because Sam seems to think that the bishop and the school teacher had some sort of connection.
He noted to all of you that when Gareth Harlow came down and entrapped them, he left. Like, he didn't bother the school teacher, so the school teacher at least wasn't doing anything wrong. Holding the dragon shard while you're standing in the courtyard up to the cages, you would notice that they are magically enchanted.
Good to know.
Damn.
Could I make some kind of lore check to learn more about them?
The enchantments?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you would probably need magical sight to understand exactly how they work. But you can tell that it's some kind of combination of magics that will strengthen it and make it hard to disenchant.
Okay.
So whoever put them in there does not want them getting out.
That makes a certain amount of sense.
The woman in white is just kind of weeping quietly in hers.
Out of character, real quick, just for my own sake, are these cages similar to the one that V was in really early on that he had to like counterspell to get out of?
As far as like,
it was when the bag-headed guy was like interrogating.
It's not the
him.
same kind of cage. That was like a jail cell.
Oh, okay.
These are like those medieval cages where they like hang people from posts in the air. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was picturing. Well,
I'm not sure how much time we have. Perhaps we move on to the inn, or perhaps the schoolhouse if it's closer.
Yeah, it's actually quite comfy in here. Also, I have nothing to offer. He's terrifying. I'm not going to try to fight him again.
Well, you've been a tremendous help, Mr. Plotkins. I can only ask that, at least for now, you sit tight and wait for us.
Hey, if you find my card,
rescue.
There's another bowl of cabbage stew in there. One of you can have it.
I was just about to ask if I could look around and see if I could see his cart anywhere.
You make a perception roll.
Perception is awareness, right?
Good old gibbeting.
Yeah.
Right in the gibbet.
Right in the giblets.
9. It's almost the best I could do.
A 9. Yeah, you do see his cart. It's overturned in one of the ditches off of like the main pathway to the square. It's overturned and basically shattered into pieces.
Okay. I'll go over and kind of pick through it and see if I can find the bowl of cabbage stew and if there's any of those gold galleons left or anything else that he had that we hadn't gotten yet.
Go ahead and make a study roll to search through the cart.
I'm going to go up to the woman, and I'll say, Miss, I know you've gone through quite a lot, and I promise you that we will bring your son back again, unharmed.
9. No, wait, 10.
I couldn't hurt him. I tried to scream, I tried to strike. Nothing that I possess in this form would help. Her eyes open and they look at you. Bishop Harlow can't be hurt by his monsters.
That does make some ounce of sense. Well, what we are hoping to do today will put an end to whatever sort of protection he has on himself. And in doing so, we will do what we can to cause him as much harm as possible. Like, my eyes will kind of flicker over towards Jensen.
I'll like catch your eye for a second, and like you'll know, and then I'll like kind of like keep looking around because I've just been scanning around, like letting you guys do the talking, and just like making sure we're not getting snuck up on, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'll catch your eye.
She just kind of sinks back into the cage. Somehow the cage is like holding her incorporeal form like she's solid.
Interesting.
It's strange.
We will be back as soon as we can with your son intact.
Hey, take your time. Town's really beautiful this time of year.
Thank you, Mr. Plotkins.
You're welcome.
I'll start walking towards the end.
Yes, most generous of you, Mr. Plotkins. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, that's what my old lady always said. I was generous.
Is which out of the inn and the schoolhouse, which one's closer to where we
The
are?
inn.
Okay, we'll go to the inn then.
The inn is the only building directly attached to the square you haven't explored.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go to the inn then.
All right.
I got a 10 at the cart.
You do find a bowl of old cabbage soup, so it would be possible for somebody to get the effects of that again.
What did the cabbage soup do again?
Let me pull it up. A creature that consumes all this stew gains the ability to see spirits that are within 3 range bands.
That's right.
It lasts for an hour.
Oh yeah, I had eaten it last time. That's how I could see the blacksmith when Dari couldn't.
Yes. And you actually would have, just so you know, and you guys would know that this is the side effect of it now, because I was going to wait and surprise you guys with this happening, but it would have happened to you while you were sleeping, B. But at some point while you were sleeping, that hour ended, at which point you vomited all of it up all over yourself, and you gained the exhausted condition. But that was nullified by the fact that you were taking a long rest. But yeah, after you drink this stuff, you uncontrollably vomit all of it up, and you gain the exhausted condition until you take a shorter long rest. So be aware that there is a side effect.
Covered in vomit.
Yeah, so V's front is currently covered in vomit.
I mean, I'm gonna need to buy new clothes again when I get out of here.
Yeah, I don't think I've made a magical cleaning spell yet. No powers for cleaning.
Gotta get on that.
I could use it right now, man.
Exactly.
Hey, you might find some clothes in the inn. Who knows? All right.
That's true. I could find a corpse with clothes on it that fits me somehow. There's a 7-foot tall, skinny man living in the village.
I would have walked up to basically 10, 12 feet away from the inn door and then like turn to where V was in the cart and just kind of wait.
I didn't find the gold galleons or anything else, just the soup.
No, you did not find any of his other belongings. It looks like anything else that was worth anything was taken when the cart was trashed.
I figured, but
are there still spirits wandering around?
There are.
Okay.
There's less than there were before.
Sure.
Make a perception roll. As the rest of you are entering the inn, its main hall is a welcoming oval with a small transition room that kind of like makes up this entryway that you're stepping into directly. Inside, past the transition room, as all of you file in, you see hollowed windows of shattered glass and softly billowing curtains that provide what can barely be described as a dim light in the chamber from the ambience coming through the windows. A staircase on the far side leads upstairs to where 4 additional rooms can be seen. They appear to be in various stages of degradation, like much of this building. It also appears that large tapestries once adorned many of the walls. Though time has eaten away at them, 2 appear to remain. One is a banner of a tree whose leaves grow into the roots of a yellow sun that is bathing it in light. And another is a woman who's rising out of a lake, holding aloft a longsword to a knight. A dame standing tall by the water's edge with fiery red hair.
Sorry, could you repeat the first one again?
The first one is a banner of a tree whose leaves grow into the roots of a yellow sun. The main hall is quite large, so as all of you start to look around, go ahead and make perception tests. The top target number that you're trying to hit is a 10.
By the way, I got an 11 on the awareness check too for the spirits.
As all of them file into the inn, Charlotte, you take one last look around, your hand holding the cold metal of the doorknob. And you notice that there are packs of ghosts in the trees behind corners of the buildings. Translucent and as dull as their features are from their minds winding away from having spent time here, they appear afraid, in hiding.
I'll make a mental note of that.
You step in the inn and close the door behind you. But everyone get on their awareness rolls. Anybody beat a 10?
I got a 10.
7.
I got a 10.
I got half of it then.
V, you find a note. It's stabbed by an iron dagger blade that's rusted over and with a broken hilt into the wall. And it says, "I locked the creature in the tavern cellar. I shiver to think I once looked at them and saw a child. Don't let it out. Don't let his mother see. Leave this cursed place while you can."
I'll read it to myself and then just crumple it up and go, well, that was too late, and just toss it.
All right, who got higher? Who got higher than a 5?
I got 7.
You got a 7.
Okay, Max, you
Mm-hmm.
notice a skeleton. They appear to have once been wearing brightly colored medieval garb that's mostly browned and grayed with time. In particular, on top of the skeleton's head is like one of those fancy curl-brimmed hats with the big feathers that like bards had way back. And also, the skeleton appears to be clutching in its hand a very old lute.
Old what?
It's a lute.
A lute.
He's like clutching it in like playing position.
Max walks up. Max walks up to the skeleton and brushes some dust off the brim of the hat and says, "And people call me ostentatious."
Sounds to me like you found a new hat.
So I was thinking,
Dare, on another one of the walls, away from the banners, you find a large painting. It's of a beautiful fae, covered only in scantily clad leaves, standing next to a bishop and other humans, all finely clothed. They're standing in a large garden, and the fae appears to be praying to a large white tree. Beneath the painting, there's a plaque that reads, Lady Esme, who planted the white willow.
Does white willow mean anything to anyone? Lady Esme, perhaps?
Lady Esme was mentioned in the visit center as the fae they made a deal with.
Yes, there's a particularly nice statue of her in the garden back in Lambeth Hollow. She was supposed to be the one who helped the original settlers, settle. As for a white willow, I'm not sure. Can I make a check to see if I know any significance about white willows? Like symbolically or magically?
You can make a lore roll.
At 8.
You know that there's a lot of different ways willows can be used. Oftentimes, a willow tree can be used to symbolize new life or fertility. In the case of a white willow, they tend to have deeper spiritual relations with different beliefs, and more specifically, a lot of beliefs tend to tie them to things like the moon and darkness and light.
The witch's totem that was left for me in that little compartment in the statue.
Yes.
I feel like you said it was twigs. I can't remember. Are they made of white willow?
Have you used that totem up?
Not.
You can inspect it. It would be a natural sciences roll.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I haven't even imbued it with anything yet. I'll use the magnifying glass if I can. I got a 12.
12? Yes. They are indeed a mix of twigs from what appear to be willow trees, and also some of them are near the in the inside, considerably whiter, almost like bleached.
I'll take that out of my pack and just kind of look over a little bit and say, well, there's no doubt as to the connection between willow trees, at the very least, and whatever magic is protecting Lambeth Hollow, or plaguing it. I've half a mind to think that this white willow still exists, but may be obscured in some way. As to whether it's in Lambeth Hollow or Old Lambeth, that remains to be seen.
Or maybe it was destroyed and that's why this land is cursed.
I suppose that could be as well.
I mean, is it possible that this Lady Esme gave a white willow, knowing that whatever her supernatural connection to it could, be fed, that her influence could spread that way, right? Trees have roots. Maybe Lady Esme put this tree here under false pretenses.
Or she put it here under right pretenses and the bishop crossed her.
I think that's just as likely. But that tree and the lady.
I think we need more evidence.
I agree.
I also agree.
Did we get anything from getting the 10 on that awareness roll?
Who got the 10? Was it Stella?
And I both did.
Gee, okay.
Yeah.
Jensen, as you're having that conversation and you're moving about, and then Charlotte kind of takes over the conversation, you find a large hope chest. There's a few things about it. First, its latch is hanging loose, and when you open it, you find inside what appears to be a bundle of quilt material wrapped around something heavy. It's pretty large and heavy, like you have to pick it up with two hands. Additionally, in front of the hope chest's front corners, you can see marks that consistent with it being shifted or moved across the floor.
Okay. First thing is when I saw it, first thing I would have done was kind of like not kicked it, but like nudged it with my boot to see if it was like empty or full, heavy. You know how heavy it was, and then I would have noticed the marks on the floor. Can I follow the marks? Do they go underneath the chest? Do they go to the left, right, up?
They kind of
like if I were to move it, would I be moving it left or right?
You'd be pulling it like towards you.
Okay. Can I put a hand underneath it and kind of like go down on one knee and kind of like try to lift one side of it? Look underneath it?
When you try to do that, it feels like the mechanism's not designed for that. So you could try to rip it off if you wanted.
Well, I don't know. If I meet a lot of resistance like that, I would not. I would stop and I would kind of rest my elbow on my hand and say, well, if we're done, whenever y'all are done discussing that, I think we have something here. Maybe a way into an underground place or something.
Did you pull out the object?
So I'll get back up to my feet and then I'll reach in and I'll attempt to pick it up and be like, "That's why it's heavy." And I'll pick the second one and kind of like.
When he pulls this out and he stands up with it, even despite the fact that it's wrapped up, you immediately recognize that it's a big ass book.
Seems to be a tome of some sort. Max, would you mind taking a look through your lens? I've half a mind to think something that would be wrapped up like this would be rather important. Possibly for multiple reasons.
I'm gonna put it down on the table.
Certainly. Let me see here.
Yeah. Sat down near the table.
Max, when you pull out the lens and you turn it on the quilt wrap in the book, it doesn't ping anything magical. Now, it doesn't ping anything magical on the hope chest.
Neither of these objects appear to be enchanted in any particular way. They're as mundane as I can tell.
Always good to check.
I'll look over my shoulder, turn a little bit, and look into the chest. Is there anything else in the chest?
Nope.
Okay. I'll look back and I'll say, "Will, I'm curious to see what this book is called," and I'm gonna pull the quilt back and off of it.
I'm gonna take a pair of silk gloves out of my bag and put them on, and I'll be the one to open the book when we get there.
Pulling away the quilt, those of you that are looking would see a well-crafted, leather-bound, and handwritten tomb tome. I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced tomb, but That's a different story. Entitled The Birth of a Queen, written by Bede.
Written by who?
Bede. B-E-D-E.
That name ring a bell. Bede.
You can make lore rolls if you wanted. The lore test for that is a 8.
I can hit that.
I can technically hit that, but I don't think they would actually really know anything about it, so I'm gonna...
I got a 9.
I got a 6.
6.
I got a 10.
Those of you that got an 8 or above would recognize the name Bede. Bede was a pre-Albionic monk of the Secretian Order, who was known as an author, a scholar, and a storyteller. So he was kind of like a writer, essentially. He was a philosopher, and he's important because throughout the end of the pre-Albionic era, leading into when the 12 kingdoms were united and formed Albion, and that Albion became the nation that ruled like all of Karth past the Channel. Into that time, he was like one of the primary writers of both history and mythology around those events.
Bede, that name sounds somewhat familiar. Sorry.
It does. I believe he was a rather prolific writer at the time when Albion was being, I suppose settled into its somewhat current state. I know he's written quite a lot. I'm sure I've read at least a few of his books.
Yes, that's right. I recall one of my scholars when I was young trying to get me to read a very rather hefty volume of his. He was a Secretian monk, isn't that right, Miss Price?
Indeed. Interesting that one of his books would be here, wrapped in linens as such, and in a hope chest, no less.
Charlotte, both you and I would say Dare and probably Max are all assuming in the back of your head that this book is probably one of a kind, an incredibly important text. That is probably, this is the kind of thing that like the Secretian Order would keep locked up. And they would have somebody like rewrite it into other copies, basically.
At this point, I'll take out my gloves that I never wear, specifically for situations like this, and I'll kind of like ever so gently lift the cover just to make sure it's going to stay intact.
It is in surprisingly pristine condition.
I'll just kind of like lean down to get a better look at the pages from the side, and I'll like use the magnifying glass, and she'll say, "It's very likely that this tome is one of a kind. This is the sort of thing you'd see in a museum. It stands to reason why it would be wrapped up. Certainly makes sense to me now, but yeah, it's very possible that there are no other copies of this book. I can't say I've ever heard of this specific title. If I left this place without keeping this pristine and delivering it someplace much, much better than Old Lambeth, I would not be who I am."
When you test the binding by turning another page, you see a dedication that says, "To these friends who I have just made and their incredible works." When you turn another page, you see prologue. It began with a vision, a shared vision between an old man and a young dame. And it continues on from there. Would you like to read more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Max will be peering over her shoulder as she flips the pages.
I'll be reading it out loud too, just so everyone can.
What we are going to do is we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we will be playing your other characters.
Do it.
Because this book is the portal to the other
figured.
characters. All right. Seraphina. You walk in your armor through a lingering woods. You can feel the heat of a morning sun creeping, breaking through the canopy above, and warming the back of your neck. But when you look in the distance, the birds, they stop singing. And a tower of flame rises into the sky. Ranashan. You walk through a lingering woods, experiencing that same morning sun being washed away by a gout of flame that causes the clouds above to rain fire on the people below. Everyone is running in the smoke and the flame and the broken trees and the splintering winds. Except one person. You can see her in the distance, standing calm in the face of the storm, watching it like you are. Her hair red, her armor silver, embroidered with the symbol of her house, House Ashmore. You recognize it. A great tree that's canopy grows into the roots of a rising sun. She's, in spite of the chaos of the screams of terror and the cracking of the trees and the breaking of the grounds around you, in spite of the apocalypse that is descending from the skies to wipe away everything, she is calm. And Seraphina, you catch this old man's eye, another watcher like you.
Hail, old man. See you not the Scout of Flame?
I do. Shouldn't be there. There's chaos everywhere. Except for around you, and his head snaps to you a little bit fast. And
she had her hands on her hips looking at it, and she just kind of spots you and just turns to look at you.
Why do you seem to be the eye of the storm?
Well, I certainly won't deny the compliment, but I had nothing to do with this. I was simply on a merry walk through the forest to catch a bit of fresh air, and I happened to spot the forest's denizens vacating this area, and then this. What might you be doing here?
Passing through. As I always am. What do you think caused this, then?
Surely some foul magic of some kind. Hopefully not a witch. I've dealt with enough of those this week.
Foul magic.
Do you know of such?
No. Well, I know of it, but There's no place for that here. That's not what magic is for.
Seems
Why would you sully it with things that can be done already?
This you and I can agree on. Are you able to take care of yourself so should the situation turn awry?
Sam, I've taken care of myself for a long time.
You put one hand on the
Why
hilt
stop now?
I'm gonna smile at you, put one hand on the hilt of my sword at my belt, and I'll clap a hand on your shoulder and say, "Then today, my friend, we investigate the source of whatever foul magics are at work. Come," and she'll just like start heading off.
Yes, I think being friends with this one would be smart. So kind of like linger for a second, like he's staring off into space, and like snap and look at her and like follow her with his eyes, and go after her.
You know, I once rescued a small child from a firestorm such as this. Set an entire forest ablaze. Had to put it out using only a single bucket.
Well, that sounds like quite the story. Must have been a very big bucket.
Oh, no, not at all. It was actually the smallest one available. All the other ones had burned. But, yeah, another time, another place for that.
Maybe fire is attracted to you. Your hair looks like fire.
Oh, you noticed. And she'll just kind of, like, very dramatically, like...
I'll look around like there was wind.
It is like the thickest, fullest hair. It's shining. It's like extra shiny.
Time slows down for a moment.
Yeah, he'll look around like he's like,
you know how when
feeling things change.
You know how when people were saying cursed, everything was getting darker. When she flicks her hair, everything gets brighter.
Oh, well, that is a trick.
Not a trick, simply my birthright.
Oh, yes, you are of House Ashmore, no?
The one and only. She'll like turn so you can clearly see the emblem of the house.
Oh, yes, very proud of it too, as you should be.
Oh, indeed. What do you make of House Ashmore?
I think?
She's still walking, but
I haven't had many thoughts about House Ashmore at all until recently.
Oh, good things, I hope.
Well, he like scratches his head and like kind of like runs his hands through his beard and stops like this for like almost looks like he like glitches for a second. Well, yes, I mean, better now.
Well, it will only get better in time. And she'll wink at you.
You are quite confident.
Confidence would be my middle name if I'd had a say in it.
Oh well, it's a good thing we don't have a name and say in our own middle names. What would we think about? Nobody knows. What would we even say?
Indeed, there is a lot in a name, my friend. Oh, but where are my manners? I am Dame Seraphina of House Ashmore. She'll do like a half bow.
Ranashan, Peru. You can call me, well, you can call me whatever you like, but people have called me Sean before. Or Ranashan.
Well,
did I say everybody's called me something different, actually.
Well, then I think I'll take Sean, seeing as we're good friends now.
Oh, good friends.
As the two of you walk through this apocalyptic event that's happening, maintaining your calm, having this strangely civil conversation, considering the world-ending implications.
Are we too calm right now?
You fade.
Sometimes the intrusive thoughts win.
You fade
no.
into the darkness. With our good friend Ranashan, still mumbling in the dark. Go for it. Finish your thought.
No, and that's pretty much it.
And we come to on a bright morning. Why is it bright? It's bright because it's the first Aran day of Zavethion. It's bright because you're only 9 days away from Matriarch's Day. It's bright because on the first Aran day, the Alpha Meteor Shower screams across the sky over the northern part of Karth and across the world, an event that you can only see once per year. But even in the bright early days of the season of Dawnlight, outside of the small community of Lambeth, which will be housing the Matriarch's Joust this year, there's darkness and there is shadows to find. And in the darkness of a line of wooden huts, creeping along, slipping their hand over a bag that is not their own, but is lingering too far from the belt of a stranger, and snapping it away, we see a young rogue at work. Josh, would you like to introduce your character? As you pinch a bag with 3 golden dragons in it off the belt of a man sitting on one of the raised benches.
Yeah, so, I guess nobody's there, but...
You can describe what he looked like for when somebody's...
Yeah. So, he's young, teenage, about 17 years old. Very light brown, kind of sandy blonde hair, almost. It's not super long, but it comes down to about his chin. Kind of unkempt. He's wearing a old, kind of worn, a little bit thin brown cloak. The clothes underneath it also kind of older, worn thin. He's got gray eyes. He's about 5'6", very scrawny. When he gets those 3 gold, it would just kind of disappear into one of the hidden areas on his clothes.
As you kind of observe past these temporary wooden benches, these wooden standed benches that are covering the courtyard area, and looking out towards the field in the distance where the joust will be held and the other events, you kind of look back. You see the tavern actively bustling. The possibilities for an even greater return on gold within the tavern, you believe, are, well, based upon what you've seen of the travelers coming into town, and especially these middle-aged men who are either working to set up the Matriarch's Day events or are, well, just drinking to their heart's content, because for them this is their one vacation of the year. You definitely think that the tavern is the place to hit.
Yeah. I'll head over to the tavern, kind of keeping an eye out for any other easy grabs along the way.
As you're moving along, go ahead and make a perception roll for me. Target number for this test is 6.
9.
Yeah, you actually notice that the stables off to the side of the tavern, the stableman is currently passed out drunk on his stool, and he has not hidden his coin bag. His purse is... It's probably not a ton, but it is... it's an easy pickings.
I'll love it when they make it easy for me. I'll just go up and I'll relieve him of his coin.
All right. I'm not going to make you roll. For you, this is easy work. You snap it off, you cinch it open and check as he snores next to you. His half-drink bottle kind of held loosely in one of his hands. And you see 12 copper shields. Additionally, you hear something. It's coming from within the stables. Lady Ashmore, I must impress upon you that, even with all of your confidence, it is very important that this goes well. Your knighting is dependent on how you do at the event. And when you look around the corner, you see 3 figures standing. One of them is an older knight, a man probably in his later years, his late 40s. And he has a gray speckled, finely trimmed beard and well-groomed hair. He's wearing silver knight's garb, and he is standing next to a black horse. There's also a white horse, as well as what appears to be like a parlor horse, like a half-sized horse. They're being attended to by a young man that's there. And next to him is a young woman, probably in her late teens to early 20s, with fiery red hair. Both of them are wearing matching armor sets that bear what you would recognize from this area as the signet of House Ashmore. And House Ashmore is important because this is being held in Lambeth this year, because they're using the Lambeth fields for the joust and the other events. And every year, one of the 12 kingdoms hosts the Matriarch's Day events, and this year it is being held here. And House Ashmore is the controlling house for this kingdom, basically. So this is a very important person that is here. And as you're watching them, and he's saying this to her, I'm going to let the 2 other characters that are with the aged knight describe themselves, because this is Stella and Jesse's characters.
Yeah, I'll go since we kind of already saw my character a little bit. I posted her art. Yeah, she's basically how Matt described. She decked out in Ashmore branded armor. Very shiny, looks like it's been polished very recently, no scuff marks. She has a scabbard with an elegant looking sword hilt sticking out of it. Well, it's probably on the horse's saddle at this point, but yeah, she has very long, very bright red hair, and she kind of just has this like she's definitely smiling as she's looking around at everything. She seems a little bit distracted from what he's saying, but is still listening. She has a very like just kind of young, eager face. Her eyes definitely give away that she has seen her share of combat and trials and tribulations, but she definitely still has that kind of young, naive look to her.
And then also with them is Jesse's character, who's currently attending to the horses.
He's a youth, probably around 14 or 15. He has a sort of reddish-brown, maybe auburn hair and freckles that's sort of sticking out in places from under like Squire's cap. And he's sort of rushing around, tripping over his feet a bit, trying to get the saddle and everything just right.
How do you respond to your concerned, your steward's concerns? You know this knight. His name, his name is Corin Guess, and he's been a knight of House Ashmore for quite a long time. He's a knight who actually controls like a land holding, but he's retired. He's mostly retired from active knighthood. He's basically your bodyguard / like he's supposed to be like your mentor. He's the guy like your dad put with you.
Yeah.
Because you're the oldest child and all the children are women, so you're the one who has to represent the family.
Yeah, she's like kind of got an ear to him as he's talking, but she's looking around at all the festival stuff being set up, and she'll just
Sorry, really quick, as you're doing that, before you respond, make a perception roll, and Edric, why don't you go ahead and make a stealth roll for me?
All right.
Player versus player contest. Is this the first one of the system? It might be.
Possibly.
I think so.
No, I think we incited Max
one time because someone was being controlled or something.
Yes.
Well, I only got a 19.
Oh, I only got a 3, so we're good.
Edric, you're able to duck out of view, but you're overhearing this conversation. How did you want to respond? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, very good. She'll just kind of like put up a hand like dismissively, and she'll say, "Yes, Corin, I know. I'll take care of the whole thing. You know that mingling with the common folk is what I do best."
Well, your father and everyone else won't be coming back down from Ashmore Hall for a couple more days. I'm going to get things set up for us at the inn. Try not to get into any trouble. And Pate? Is it Pate, Jesse?
Yeah, yes.
Pate?
Yeah, sir.
Keep an eye on her.
Yes, Pate, make sure you keep an eye on me. I'll be getting up to all sorts of trouble.
Oh, I'm sure my milady would never cause any trouble.
There you go, Corin. See, everything's going to be just fine. I've got this covered. We've got this covered.
It's core. Never mind. He walks away. Towards the end.
Well, now that that's out of the way, Pate, how are the horses attended to? Oh, mind the sword, please. It's very expensive.
Yes. Sorry, milady. Of course. Yes, the horses are ready whenever you'd like to go.
Oh, of course. Well, I think I'd like to stop in for a drink first. See my fellow man and woman, fine citizens of Lambeth.
Oh, right. Of course. The people do so love you, milady.
Oh, yes, of course. And I think, water for you, Pate? Maybe we can find you some watered-down wine. We'll see.
It's not like totally uncommon for a 14, 15-year-old to drink.
No, I know.
Oh, whatever they have will be fine, I'm sure, my lady.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, let's see now. This is a rather lively place. I like this already. Come, Pate, hurry up.
Edric?
Oh, yes, of course. Right behind you.
You realize these two are going to be walking past your position pretty quickly. What do you want to do?
I would definitely be leaving and heading inside.
Okay. You slip into the tavern ahead of them. The two of them follow shortly after, but you've already kind of mixed yourself into the crowd. The tavern is open and flat. They've built expansions out from both of the side stable door openings that allow for even more people to be sitting outside. They basically turned it into a beer garden. Yes?
When Seraphine walks in, is it Seraphine?
Seraphina.
Seraphina. When she walks in, I want to eye and her squires to see, if they look like they have a decent amount of money on them, considering this is a noble woman. Squire
definitely has like a coin purse on him. You notice that he's got it like double wrapped and tucked, which means he understands that things can be stolen. You don't immediately see a coin purse on her, but you're sure that she's definitely carrying money somewhere. But these aren't like these two are not as dumb as the Yobels.
Oh, I know. It was just
She's definitely got money. In fact, the sword that's now at her side that was taken off of the horse is very clearly like a knight's quality sword. And not just a knight's quality sword, like a knight from a house who's been gifted something or had something made.
Definitely going to kind of keep one eye on them as I'm also casing the rest of the place, looking for any drunkards with heavy coin purses that need them lightened.
Seraphina, as you enter with Pate at your side.
Yeah, I will. She'll immediately just be beaming, looking at everyone inside. She'll put her hands on her hips, just looking around, and she'll kind of. This is it, Pate. This is what it's all about. I'm going to stride up to the bar, and I'll just kind of like lean on it with one elbow, and I'll call out to the bartender, and I'll say, I'll just kind of like gesture him over, and then I will.
He leans up on the counter across from you, and he nods.
I'm going to stand up on one of the stools, and I'm going to like hold on to like a beam supporting the ceiling with one arm. Okay. And with the other arm, I'll gesture out to the inside of the tavern, and I'll say, "Citizens of Lambeth, House Ashmore brings their regards. Drinks on the house for everyone." And then I'll look.
Hey! There's several cheers from the crowd, and people start rushing up to the front, basically like packing in the bar to try to get a drink or two while drinks are free.
Mm-hmm.
The bartender raises his eyebrow and looks up at you, and he says, "Oh, well, I hope that's true, Lady Seraphina. You know this bartender. Lambeth is one of the towns that are within your family's holdings, like outside of your castle. And you know this man. His name is Whitaker Grimm."
Yeah, she'll kind of swing down across the beam and like sit down on one of the stools, and she'll say, "Mr. Grimm, of course. I was so focused on everyone else, I barely noticed you. But it's so good to see you again."
"And what would you like, Lady Seraphina?"
"Oh, I'm thinking something bright and cheery, something flowery and elegant, yet strong and fierce. What do you recommend?"
He looks confused. "I have bitter and I have sweet."
"Sweet it is, Mr. Grimm. And the same thing for Mr. Pate here. I believe he's earned his keep today."
"Oh, he has he?" And he turns and he looks down at you, Pate, and he says, "We'll put a hair in yours then."
"Drink it slowly, Pate. Don't want to overdo it."
Yes, of course, my lady.
And he'll serve up those for you, and then he'll go back to serving the bar. Ranashan.
I'm gonna go start schmoozing.
Okay,
just immediately after I get the drink.
Ranashan. Many of the trade roads are quite busy right now, moving into Lambeth. You had only recently learned, since having your vision, that Lambeth was hosting the jousts, and House Ashmore was involved. But, smart and resourceful as you are, you found a walking road that is considerably more calm. As you're walking along this road, you see ahead of you a strange situation. Two humans. It appears to be a man and a woman, fairly young. It looks like they were out together, possibly in an attempt to find a quiet place to have a tryst. And yet at this moment, as they run back and forth with bees chasing after them under the trees, something seems off. Make a perception roll for me. Chris, this is against your stealth. Don't forget, you guys can use momentum. There's still 3. You can use it on each other.
Hold on. Pull my shit up.
But that means I get them both. Just
11.
11 stealth. I put character sheets and tokens for everyone in their bags, except for you, Jesse, because you don't have your stuff up yet. But once you do, I'll make those for you.
That's good.
How do you go into your bag?
You right-click the bag and you hit search.
Then you can drag stuff from the
And then you can
window.
drag stuff from the window onto your table. And you can also drag stuff over that bag, and when the drop icon appears, you can just drop them in there if you want to clear your table off.
Okay.
I save it at the end of the session, so however you guys leave your table should be how it is next session.
Okay. I rolled a 6.
Okay, so we're supposed to.
You don't immediately notice anything, but this doesn't seem like a natural situation, Ranashan.
Under my breath, I'm gonna shake my head and I'm just gonna say, paranoia, I hate going into the city. I'm gonna shake my head, I'm gonna keep walking.
Okay. Chris, as your character is delighting themselves in the mischief that they can make with these rather stupid humans, you happen to notice an old man on the road. He doesn't notice you. You notice him.
And he's like muttering under his breath.
I'm gonna try and sneak up behind him.
Okay. You passed. Your stealth roll was higher than his perception, so I'm going to say that you've snuck up behind him if you want.
And I'm just gonna creep up like right next to your ear to whisper. Is something the matter, my dear man?
I'll stop. I'll say, that was not one of the voices in my head.
I'm gonna try and stay behind him so he can't see me.
Like when he turns around. Okay.
Yeah, at this time, after I say that to myself under my breath, I whip around 180 degrees as fast as I can.
Make another perception versus stealth.
Take a while. 4.
9.
You turn around, there's nobody there because he totally moved around like just perfectly, and he's standing behind you where you were.
Dare I say, you seem confused.
Is there anybody around, like within?
There's the 2 people that were running away from the bees.
Okay. I'm gonna take a look at them. Are their backs turned to me?
They seem preoccupied with the bees.
Okay.
Like they haven't really noticed what's happening on the road because they're like running around the trees trying to get the bees to stop stinging them.
Okay.
It sounded like the voice whispered in your ear again, I would imagine.
Yeah. I'm going to. I'm gonna whip around again. I'm just gonna my ear say, huh? And I like look frantically back and forth, and then I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna like reach real slow into my pocket, like no sudden movements. I'm gonna bring out a small piece of a black pot, like iron pot that I have, and I'm going to flick it, and I'm going to say, "Be gone!" And I'm going to cast a power.
Okay, sure. Yeah. What power are you casting?
Anti-magic protection.
Okay.
I'm going to try and bounce him away from me with anti-magic, because I think it's magic. That's the only explanation for my bad, for not seeing what I'm hearing.
What is the effect of anti-magic?
In case of veil of magic around yourself or an ally, you can touch to protect yourself from spells that seek to harm you. For the duration of the spell, its target gains a +2 to defense roll made against spells and magical effects. I don't know if that actually helps mechanically, but I'm going to do it. Because I assume there's something mischievously magical going on around me. the only explanation, really.
Not that you're just a blind old man.
Definitely not. I may be old and a little decrepit, but my mind sharp as a spade.
A used spade, maybe.
Hey, I don't net this from the Arthurian peanut gallery, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's been put to rest in the shed, only to be pulled out in emergencies.
There's a burst of magical energy that comes off of you. You do hear some stumbling behind you. I'm going to say that because you use the spell, you are able to whip around in time now to see another person on the road with you. And Chris, would you like to describe your character? It can be however you want. Fays do not all look like elves or whatever. It can be however you want it to be.
You see, or at least like an average human-sized man. His skin actually looks kind of darker, almost as if it's like tree bark. And he's got a white flower in his hair that is surrounded what looks like giant dragonfly wings, like around the arch of the flower as well. Not wearing a shirt, just has like a long scarf tucked in his elbows. And then a little, like, just plain linen pants, something like that.
Is he barefoot?
Yes, he is barefoot. And you can see it looks like paint, perhaps, just like drawn on his face under one eye. Well, I was not expecting magic. You see, I wipe my finger through the air and lick the tip of my finger, as if I'm tasting the magic.
I'll say, you should always be expecting magic, because it can come from anywhere, at any time.
Well, I
Who are
wasn't
you?
expecting it from
You were the one that was in my ear. You're the one that was in my ear, were you not? And I'll take like a step towards you and kind of like inquisitive, not aggressive, but I definitely am like wanting to get like a better look at you, like. But I kind of move a little bit faster than you were expecting.
You lean forward. I'm gonna lean forward as well and like grab your head and look inside your ear.
Oh,
I don't think I'm in there.
Fucking. Oh, I didn't think I'd have to deal with shit like this until I got to the town.
Ooh, headed to town, are you?
Did I say that? No.
Just now.
Damn.
Are you thinking
out there?
Company into town? I'm heading that way as well.
Oh, I don't know if your company is the kind of company I want. You seem...
My company is the best company.
You know, I've never actually...
I'm just gonna hook my arm into your ears.
Oh, all right. And he'll kind of like look behind you and look. Did you do magic in front of those people? Are you like a magical creature, or are you like
me? Magic? That's preposterous. I would never throw bees at anybody. Shall we?
So you're a very real looking hallucination.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's gotta be it. And I'll kind of like feel your arm and kind of like furrow my brow and like kind of shrug my shoulders and say, "Why are you going to town? You look like you're having. Oh, the bees. Oh yeah, you were having fun.
Bees?
Why?
What bees?
The bees right there. You just told me about. I know I'm old, but come on.
I think you lost me somewhere.
I think you lost your bees. I don't see them anymore.
I never had bees. I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay. Alright.
Do you like cats?
No, I would have to say Bello and I do not like cats.
You don't like cats? Okay.
No. In fact, I wonder, and then you're gonna, like, out of a tree to the right, you're gonna see there's like an ethereal raccoon that jumps out of it and it tries to jump at you.
I will try and dodge out of the way.
Is Bello attacking him?
Bello is dead. Bello is like going after him.
Okay, go ahead and roll 2d4 against his dodge roll. I need to make a raccoon stab block.
Agility?
Yes, you do.
What?
Dodge's agility.
Dodge's agility.
I rolled 3 on my 2d4.
I got 5.
You dodge to the side as this raccoon chitters jumping out of the air at you.
Is that yours? That was quite rude. I'm gonna look at the raccoon. Rude.
Yeah. He's like in Ranashan's arms now.
Yeah, he like climbs his way up to my. Kind of got some of the mannerisms of fuck is the raccoon from Pocahontas thing. Just imagine that. He's kind of a little chunky.
I don't know.
I can't remember what his name is. He's a little chunky. And he's not exactly a regular creature. Like he's very obviously something else going on with him.
You can taste the magic coming off of him.
Yeah.
Is this one magic as well?
Well, no, but he gets here through magic. This is Bello.
You are quite fun. I picked a nice one.
Picked. I believe I was just by happenstance came across your path.
A little grumpy though.
Well, that is your fault.
My fault? Whatever did I do?
I was not grumpy until I got bees thrown at me, metaphorically.
No bees came anywhere near you. You were merely mumbling to yourself.
As he says that, like 10 feet behind him, running horizontally through the woods across the path and then into the other side of the woods, there's just a guy screaming, "The bees! The bees!"
So you keep looking at me. I'm sharp as a something.
Attack? A tooth? A knife? A sword? A pitchfork?
Ooh. Probably more like a pitchfork.
3 prongs.
Yeah.
Or 2. Or 4.
Yeah.
7.
Yes. I'm very sharp. That's all you need to know.
And the two of you start walking down the road towards the town.
I don't know if I should. You know what? I'm just gonna run a Sean. Or Sean, I guess. If we're friends. Well, somebody took some liberty of that in a dream I had the other night. So actually not friends. Yeah.
I like dreams.
Yeah.
Rana, it is nice to meet you.
Well, what's your name?
am Drossophyllum. You may call me Dross, or Dro, or Philum, or Awful. Just so long as it's my name that is on your tongue.
That's an odd way of saying that. I'll go with Joss. You know what? This feels like some kind of fate. Alright, and he'll put his arm like in yours again.
Excellent. On we go.
Do you like going to the town? I don't. I'm not really like a big people person.
People are wonderful. Sometimes. Not always.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from.
Great.
Less than sometimes, probably.
Absolutely, definitely.
Glad we got that straight.
And this is the conversation that continues until eventually the two of you are standing in front of a mast out of the growing beer garden and across the roads that lead in and around Lambeth. In the distance, you can see a large keep on a hill, as well as the fields that they're converting for the Matriarch's Day event. Ranashan, as you peer through one of the large open stable doors of the tavern, you see a woman clad in silver armor bearing the House Ashmore mark, with a fiery mane of red hair, just finishing a speech as she steps off of the bar and the crowd cheers to her words, and then ingratiating herself with the locals, along with it's hard to tell if he's scared or just anxiety driven, but a teenage boy, a stable boy perhaps, something of that nature.
Well, I'll stop in my tracks and say that, and I will put my hand like the meme, like put my hands on my side and be like, "Well, that's much too simple. I'm kind of look around again, be like,
What's simple?
well, I believe what I'm here for, climbing down from that soapbox over there. Very shiny. Very bright. Oh, come on. Well, come on. And I'll start walking towards the tavern.
All right, the two of you enter the tavern. It appears that Lady Seraphina is currently enjoying conversations and tavern games with the locals. Additionally, you see her attendant. Jesse, are you still standing by the bar?
He'd be wherever she is.
Okay. Are you trying to drink the drink, or?
He's had like a couple of sips.
It's very sweet. It's you can't taste the alcohol hardly at all.
Yeah, he's had a few sips.
Perfect. And as they're doing that, and the two of you are entering, Dross, you are getting some looks, but not very many because the place is so lively and packed. There's a lot of people that are looking at you like, why is this weird, unwashed, shirtless, shoeless guy walking in here right now? But like, you're not getting as many of the other looks that you've gotten from humans in the past who recognized you for what you were. So,
I like this place. I will find you. Don't you worry. I'm gonna boop Ronashon's nose as I wander off into the tavern.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the corner of the bar and try to get a drink, and then with the intention of sitting somewhere out of sight. Not gonna go up to her. I'm purposely trying not to draw attention to myself.
You find a seat near the after you get a drink, you find a seat near some of the booths, and it's not super private because things are so packed, but it's an area where you can sit and drink and have a little bit of space.
Yeah,
and be out of the way of the main action.
I'm gonna sit and observe the room. Mostly the silver-clad redhead, but
Seraphina, how are you ingratiating yourself?
She is currently interrupting a game of cards. She is standing on a chair with the Captain Morgan pose, one leg up on the table. She's got a mug of something in one hand, and she's regaling some story about how she braved a powerful blizzard once to save a town from a rampaging warlord, and all she had was a broken knife to fend him off with, and it's this whole tale of heroics, and of course she's embellishing it.
Perfect. You have the majority of them more or less enraptured and nodding along, especially because you've bought their alcohol. So they'll pretty much believe whatever you say right now, as long as you buy them more alcohol. As you're watching her do this, and you're thinking of how much harder the day becomes, the more attention is attracted to Lady Seraphina Pate, a figure bumps into you as they're moving through the crowd, and you turn to see Dross, who in your case, probably your immediate assumption is this is a weird guy who just wandered out of the woods and doesn't look like he has any money or belongs here.
Another citizen of the fine town of Lambeth. Fancy a drink, kind sir? Oh, you're quite interesting. Where did you come from? You look like you came right out of the forest. I'm kind of like taking a leaf out of your hair.
That is exactly where I came from, and I help you with the leaf for you to hold on to it.
Oh, thank you.
I actually met my grandfather on the road into town. Would you like to meet him?
Your grandfather? Oh, I'm sure he's got all kinds of stories, and you yourself look like one who might have a few interesting ones yourself.
Oh, many stories, yes.
Oh, well, I'll turn to the people at the table. I'll kind of like slam a couple fists down on the table and just say, another round for these fine fellows on me. And then I'll kind of like do like a very elegant, dramatic bow as I follow this strange dude.
I'll just take you by the hand, and, like weave through the crowd. I am Joseph Philum, and this is my grandfather, Ranashan Lanahama.
You brought her over here.
Oh, well, good to meet you too. Say, you look rather familiar. Have I met you before?
That is the question.
No, I've definitely seen you somewhere before. Someplace odd.
I've seen you someplace odd before.
Yes, perhaps we met. Oh, it was that duel in the grand tournament set by the Lord of House Norcaster, wasn't it? And you were the one who drank too much wine, and you flipped the table over and pretended to wear it as a hat. No? Wasn't that you?
You didn't tell me you did that.
Do I look like, as I throw my arms up and my sleeves come down and they have little tiny fucking twig arms? Do I look like I could flip a table?
I'm gonna call Pate over and say, Pate, I found the table hat man. Come meet him.
Pate will awkwardly set his drink down such that it sloshes a little bit and scramble over to you.
Yes, this is my squire, Pate. Pate, say hello.
Hello.
This is Ranashan Lamahama, I believe your name was?
Ranashan Peru. I did not tell Ross my last name. He made it up.
Yes, of course.
He made it up. He makes a lot of things up, and then he takes a lot of things away that he made up before.
I have never made up anything in my life.
Well, as you can see, Pate, these two clearly have quite the history. I'm very interested to hear what
my grandfather is just losing his mind. It's quite
sad. Have a seat. Have a seat. Right across from him. Right here.
Well, yes. It's such a pleasure to meet you, sir. I've heard so much about you and your table flipping prowess.
I'm gonna take a chair from a nearby table and
stuttering
do that thing where I flip it around and like sit on it with the back of the chair in front of me.
Yes, sir. I'll do just that.
I'm not his grandfather. That would require me to have kids.
Hey,
I do not have kids.
That hurts my feelings, you know?
Well, no, I don't care. I came here for a reason.
Don't care?
A drink is what you came here for. Mr. Whitaker, if you wouldn't mind.
Don't exactly drink anymore.
Oh, well, you do today, good sir.
Oh, no.
Whitaker Grimm comes over with some more drinks, spreading them out at the table. He kind of like helps you guys take over the booth that's by the chair.
Excuse me, what is in this?
These slender mugs are a sweet honey ale, and these heavier mugs are slosh, more or less.
Can I get this, but just the honey?
You just want a cup of honey?
Yes.
All right. I'll work on that for you. And he walks away.
Thank you very much.
Well, now that we're all getting friendly, I think some introductions are in order. I, of course, am Lady Seraphina Ashmore of House Ashmore, and it is on this fine day that my family is putting together the jousting tournament. No doubt that's what you've come for.
Absolutely.
Oh, well.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I had missed it.
And the two of you will be participating, no?
I think my jousting days are behind.
Oh, nonsense.
I think you could still get it.
Thing is,
no, I won't do it.
He gets angry when he's upset.
Oh yes, well I think he needs to drink a little more of that drink. I'll
that
kind of
is
like tip it
also
towards
your fault.
I bring you to the city to have fun, Grandpa.
I am beginning to suspect you are a fae. And I'll like lower my voice when I say it.
A fae? No one's ever seen a fae, Mr. Lanahama. I can assure you.
That's not my last name.
Over the bustle of the tavern, Pate, you can hear Whitaker calling to you from the bar with the extra drink and the the honey cup. He's been closed in, so he's trying to get you to like come and get them and bring them to the table for him.
Pate gets up in a hurry and almost knocks his stool over, and then he'll like catch it quickly and then put it back and then rush through the crowd to help Ken get the drinks.
He's such a klutz, that Pate, but he's a great squire.
Edric, as you weave through the crowd and you take another 13 copper shields off of somebody, you would also notice Pate running to the tavern, the bar itself, to get the drinks. And what would you like to do?
I'll kind of just create a path so that we both meet at the bar.
Okay.
At the same time. And when he grabs the drinks, I want to accidentally bump into him so that he spills them.
Okay.
And has to wait for more.
Okay. So, Pate, you're grabbing the bars off of the drinks off of the bar, and as you do, this other young figure kind of stumbles through the crowd and then bumps into you. You manage to hold the honey cup, but the other drink breaks the mug and spills.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, friend.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. I'm always dropping things. Mr. Grimm, if you don't mind, could I get more of these, please? I'm so sorry about that.
Hey, it's fine. It's on the dame, and he'll grab another one, and he'll start pouring it out. Lady Seraphina, I mean, of course.
Oh, I see you with Lady Seraphina. She seems quite the braggart. What are her chances, really, of winning the lots?
Oh, I don't know about that. She simply accomplished quite a lot for the life she's led. It's something to be proud of, I think.
Aye, but how good is she really?
Well, the people of the town and the countryside all love her, and they turn out in droves for these tournaments her family throws. And she's always the star of the show, as they say.
Have you ever been the winner of the show, is what I'm asking. Has she ever won?
Has she won?
Well, she's never... she's done, like, some jousting, but she's never competed in, like, a major event. So, based upon her where her standing is right now, if she wins this joust, she will most likely be named knight, because House Ashmore recently lost a knight. And then she would officially be a dame. So she's definitely been, like, training for this. She's not... You know that she's not necessarily the best wielder of a sword or that kind of thing, but you also know, you've also seen her be like a pretty skilled battle tactician, and she also is just like, you know, she's got like a drive. She's good with people. Like, she has a lot of qualities that are important in being like in a leadership position, like a knight or above that. So you would probably feel somewhat confident.
Well, as they are her family's jousts, Lady Ashmore has been helping to facilitate things in years previous, but this year you will be happy to know she will be, for the first time, competing, and when she wins, she will be named a knight.
I see. So she's got a lot riding on this. It's good to know.
Jousting does usually involve a lot of riding, yes? Have you been to a joust before?
Not exactly what I meant, but yes, I have been to a couple of jousts before. Always so lively. I love the crowds.
Well, I'm sure this will be like no joust you've ever seen. Her family throws only the best jousts.
It's good to know. You want help carrying this back to your table?
Oh no, that's quite all right. I think I can manage. Thank you very much. Though it was nice to meet you.
Of course.
You scoop up the extra drink and start to head away. Do you just follow anyways, Edric, or do you want to do something else? Okay.
I follow him anyway.
A moment later, the young Pate returns to the table where all of you are chatting, being followed by a new person.
Ah, there's Pate with your drinks now. Come, sit, Pate.
And who is this?
Pate will serve the drinks.
More people.
Ah, good fellow. Come sit, come sit. We're telling stories.
You get a cup of just honey in front of you.
I start dipping my pinky in and taking fingerful by fingerful.
I'll pull up a chair for the new guy.
I'll sit. I Ranishan and Dross to see if they have any loose coin purses, possibly.
Drost does not look like the kind of person you normally consider a priority target. And Ranishan also looks probably like he doesn't have very much money.
Yeah.
He looks like he's been on the road for a while. Like walking here, so.
You can't be much more than a child. Looking at Edric.
Pate will stand up a little taller.
I'm older than that guy.
He'll glare at you in the corner of his eye.
Old enough to celebrate, at least. What's your poison, friend?
Water.
Oh, careful, Watton. Okay. Yeah, I'll call for Whitaker to bring some water.
I'll get there when I can.
Thank you, Whitaker.
There's no rush, really.
It's what brings you here.
Well, I came for the tournament. Obviously.
Obviously. Why else would anyone come here?
Participating, are you?
I mean, I'm active while I'm here. Wouldn't say I'm not jousting though.
We love an active participant at our Ashmore Joust, that's for sure. Hopefully you'll get a good seat. I trust you'll go early.
Oh yes. I stake out the best spot around.
Good. Be on the lookout for you. You'll see me atop my mighty steed. Winning said tournament, of course.
Of course. Wouldn't expect anything different. From
I'll
our
hold-
fair lady Ashmore.
Yeah, she'll start to hold out a gauntleted hand to you and just kind of cock her head, and she'll say, "Oh, it seems I'm even more well known around here than I thought. You can call me Seraphine for today, at least. After all, tomorrow I will be Dame Seraphina Ashmore."
Name's Edric.
Pleasure's all mine. Come, we were just listening to Mr. Lanaham tell some stories.
I hate Mr. Lanaham.
Not my last name.
I think he's tired from all his travels, but speaking of said travels, surely you've got some good stories from your excursion to Lambeth, no?
Oh, he has loads of stories. Tell him one.
I don't really have many stories to tell right now. But
tell him about the one with the bees.
With the bees, yes. I think you're much more apt to tell him that one. And you hear a little growl from under the table. And if you look under there, fucking Mello. I'm sorry, not Bello. His name is Mello. Can't be too on the nose. I forgot. And so his name is Mello, and he's gonna under the table at you. Don't mind Mello.
You have a dog.
He will jump slightly.
It's not a dog. He is a raccoon.
Can I pet him? Is he friendly?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. Depends on what aura he gets from you.
I'm gonna get up and kick the chair, sliding off to the side, and I'll kneel down as best I can in this armor.
It's not easy, but you do it.
Sure, yeah.
Pate will say, "Careful, milady. Raccoons have been known to bite."
Oh, I've got armor on, Pain. I'll be fine. I'll take a piece of bread from
nothing.
the table. And I'll hold it out to him.
He'll be like kind of like snarling jowls out, but like as soon as you like lean down, he'll like stop and he'll just kind of go neutral. He'll just kind of like just sit down on his back haunches and kind of.
You want some bread, friend? I'm sure you're hungry from travels.
He'll just kind of keep staring at you. You're not gonna reach for the bread.
Sure, yeah. I'll just kind of like set it down in front of him, and I'll just kind of gesture that it's his. Well, in due time, I'm sure we'll introduce each other.
He'll walk up to it and grab it, I guess, and look back at Ranashan, and I'll just kind of shrug at him, and he'll take it, and he'll like regard you, and you'll see his tail flick once, and then he'll look over at Dross and again, like almost like comically like fast, like, and he'll eat the bread. Boy, here you are. Well, where I know you from, you were not quite the focus that you are. You are more the eye of the storm, and he'll kind of like look at you like one eye
she'll kind of like match your eye, like kind of cocking her head back and forth, like kind of giving you like a stink eye back. She'll say, "I do remember something about a storm, something in a forest. Was it a lightning storm? Pate, was it a lightning storm that I told you about that one time? Remember there was the strange old man that looked just like him?"
Oh, the one that threw the tables, my lady?
Yes, him. Yes. Do you remember about that? It was a dream or something. There was an old man there. I can't remember if it actually happened or not. I do so many things after all. But there was something about a storm in a forest, and I don't really remember what happened after that. But I think that's where I know you from, Mr. Lanahama. I'm pretty sure.
Peru. My last name is Peru.
Yes, of course it is. But what's more important is that I do know you from somewhere, and that means that fate has brought us back together.
Well, me and walking my old bones all the way in from where I want to be to where I don't want to be. As he like looks around the bar and.
I'm gonna kind of lightly tap Pate on the shoulder and say, "See, Pate, I told you it was a good idea to stop in here before we left."
Yes, of course, my lady. You are always so full of good ideas.
Oh, yes, I know.
Listen, I may have made this journey because I was seeking out a silver-clad knight, that's a silver-clad dame, I should say, that's with very bright red hair, almost unnaturally so. Can we talk in somewhere more private than here?
She's gonna kind of like flip her hair back, and she'll say, "Oh, well, I do think a conversation is certainly in order.
Yes,
Perhaps
you did that in the vision. You did that in the dream too."
Well, then it must be one and the same. After all, there is no one quite like me, so surely the one you met there was yours truly.
You have the same confidence.
You have the same clothes.
Yes.
Well, I think we can certainly shelf that conversation for a little bit later, but don't you go anywhere, Mr. Lanahama. You and I have much to discuss. But for now, we celebrate. After all, it is the Alpha Media Shower. There's only one the whole year. Isn't that right, Pete?
Yes, it's the only one.
Meteor shower. That's... Yes, meteor shower. Not so much a lightning storm. More a meteor shower.
Yes, perhaps. Were there meteors in your dream?
That's what I was... Oh, I can't even talk in riddles with anybody here. Maybe I've been away too long. I like talked to myself a little bit. Yes, there was a meteor storm. You were... Well, we were quite calm about it. But it was just a dream. Or maybe more. No, it was definitely just a dream.
Perhaps a dream, yes. Or perhaps a vision of the future. Just kind of like eye you like, huh?
I don't know why you believe such things.
Oh, don't you, Mr. Lanahan?
Well, yes, but no, not most people don't. This one did feel very real.
It certainly did.
I shouldn't be talking about why you gave me time. Private place. We need to talk about this in private.
Yes. For
And
now,
I'm
we
looking at
celebrate.
all the other three's faces like, you don't know what we're talking about. Don't forget we said anything.
Yes. For now, we all
I'm not.
celebrate together, and I'll clap draw something. Is that lavender?
He has
Just touched
thing.
it.
Some of it. Honey.
It's quite nice.
When you turn your gauntlet and you look at your hand where you thought you smelled the lavender, you notice that in like the little chain links and stuff, there's little flower petals blooming.
Oh, that isn't that something? How did you do that?
Do what?
Well,
He's a bay.
Come now, Mr. Lanahan. I don't know that we need to go that far. I think he's simply got some, we'll say, special gifts.
Grandpa, you were there when I was born. You know I'm not a fae.
I'm gonna take some of the flowers out of my gauntlet and just start putting them in Pate's hair.
Hold still just a moment. You've got something in your beard. And I'm gonna wipe some honey in his beard.
Yeah.
You just got a streak of honey in your beard now.
I sound a lot like my raccoon friend.
As this is happening, a tall, silver armor-clad figure is, how should I put it? Hastily making their way through the mass of people that make up the middle of the tavern and the beer garden areas. As you see Corin Guess returning, he stops and he looks at you, Seraphina, and he says, "Rooms are set at the inn, Seraphina. We'll have them until your family's camp is set up in the field. That should be in a few days. Either way, you won't have to worry about a bed."
Oh, excellent.
There's another problem, though.
Do tell.
Some of the rangers were asking to see if there were any that had arrived early who would be interested in helping. Something about some issues with rabid wolves near the Whispering Woods.
I'm just going to look at everyone at the table with like a shit-eating grin and say, "Sounds like an excellent story in the making, friends, does it not?"
Ooh, yes it does.
Well, there's one.
Was there mention of reward?
He looks at you and then looks to Lady Seraphina and he says, "Obviously, House Ashmore is willing to help the community of Lambeth with this problem free of charge, and those who are aiding House Ashmore in this job will be paid suitably for their work.
We'll ensure
count me in.
We'll ensure you an excellent scene at the tournament."
He raises an eyebrow when you say that, Edric, and he gives you a long stare and he says, "I am not sure if we are looking for street urchins or experienced hunters. Do you know anything about hunting a wolf?"
Particularly, I know plenty about hunting other things, though.
He certainly looks like he can handle himself, Corin.
Lady Seraphina, what have
Why
I
would you hunt
discussed
the
with
wolf?
you? What have I discussed with you before? I have talked to you about picking up just anyone that crosses your path.
Yes, but Corin...
We must have an eye for talent.
I keep telling you, I have the perfect eye for talent, and it is among the common people that talent is waiting to be found. I'll clasp a hand on Edric's shoulder and say, "He's already ready to go. Look at him. He's got everything he needs. He's excellent at slinking around in the shadows. I'm sure I saw him over in that corner at one point."
He'll shake his head and say, "There's a longhouse just past the northern trade road leading out into the Whispering Woods. Take your friends, and Pate, of course, He looks at you, Pate.
Pate will nod enthusiastically.
And deal with the rabid wolves. But be careful. If the stories are true, they have grown quite large as of late. I'll go see if I can find Bishop Harlow and see how Lambeth is handling everything.
Excellent. We'll see right to it, Corin. You have my word, this will be done.
And Pate?
Does.
Yes, sir.
The lady doesn't need to show up to her big joust with any scars, so make sure she isn't doing anything too foolhardy.
Yes,
Listen to the
Rangers.
Rangers.
I will protect her with my life, sir.
He nods. I know you will, Pate. You will make a great squire when she is a dame. And he turns to leave.
Does Korn have any daggers or knives out in the open on his person?
Corin, he has a sword on his belt and a shield on his back, and then he also has like a parrying dagger, like on the opposite side of the sword, on the other side of the belt. He probably also you'd probably also expect him to have a boot knife.
Would I be able to use a parrying dagger for
what?
For my weapon craft of the
Short
my
blade?
short blade
Yes.
or the throne? Like,
Yes.
would I be
Yeah, you'd be able to use it for both of those.
okay? Well, as he's getting ready to leave, I'll stand up and just reach out and clasp him on the shoulder and reach out for his hand. Don't worry, friend. You can count on me. And while he's distracted, I want to try and steal his parrying dagger.
Okay. Make a. This is going to be a sleight of hand against his perception. I'm sorry, his awareness.
I know Josh has a sizable bonus to this.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
I feel it.
He's not terrible at awareness. He's a trained knight.
Let's see, that's 12 plus 4, 16.
Yes, he does not notice as you slipped the parrying. I'm going to say that it's probably not possible to steal like the whole sheath off of his
No,
belt.
I just want the dagger.
You slip the dagger out and he doesn't notice.
Could I roll to see if I notice him stealing them?
Sure. Everyone else could roll awareness rolls in reaction to try to like notice. It was 16 is the target number you set?
16, yep.
Oh, I can't even.
I can't get that.
I can't hit that.
Oh no, I can't reach
Oh man, you guys shouldn't have said that out loud. Josh is going to spend the rest of the time you guys are in this book fucking with y'all now.
I got an 8.
You pull it out and you slip it into like your long sleeve.
You can always count on Edric, my good knight.
Yes, I hope so. He kind of like hastily gets through the handshake and then turns to leave.
Come, friends, finish your drinks. We've got wolves to hunt. And along the way, I'll tell you the tale of how I saved a valiant princess from a cloud of angry bees in the ruins of an old castle.
I can't wait.
There's no chance I'm going to have this conversation with you if I don't go with you, is there?
Absolutely not, my friend. And I'll hold out a hand for you to like help you up.
Uh-huh. I drain the drink in my hand and my lady.
Before we go, Pate, taste that honey. It's delicious and you'll need the energy. Eat up.
Yes, of course, my lady. And he'll like stick a finger in the honey.
This is when we find out Pate's allergic to honey.
Oh, shit.
Up to you whether or not Pate likes raw honey, but it is raw honey.
Yes, tis of the highest quality, my lady.
The highest quality energy for a high quality hunt. Come along now, Pate.
And so it was. We hear Charlotte's voice reading aloud the end of the first, or the end of the prologue. And so it was that the five met, and the five began their journey. Charlotte.
Well, now, this is, well, a tale as old as time, from all intents and purposes. I would very much like to study this book more, but I think we are a little pressed for time. How big is this book?
It's big.
Okay.
This is like a big, heavy book that you would need to like strap to your back. Or have somebody else carry amongst their things.
I will start wrapping it up in the linens again.
Okay.
And I will look between Jensen and V and say, I am not leaving this book behind, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to carry it myself. Would one of you mind?
I could take it for you.
I'm gonna kind of like step up and like kind of lean up to you a little bit and say, Mr. Sharp, do not let any harm come to this book. Do you hear me?
Oh, I seen the look in your eyes, Lady Pierce. This is an important book for some reason. I might not know why now, but you do, and that's good enough.
You'll have to trust me on this one, Mr. Sharp, and I'll have to trust you to carry this.
Feels like trusting you has gotten me into interest in places and gotten me out of interest in places too. So,
kind of like tap you on the chest on your armor. She'll turn to walk away and she'll say, "I sure could use my own squire, I think."
Well, it is not go too far now. I like a good story as anybody, but
yes. For now, we need a monster hunter, I think.
Jensen, there is still the hope chest. You know that it moves, but you haven't moved it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, we got caught up in this story. I forgot actually, and I'm gonna go back to the chest, close it, and I'm gonna try to move it the right way.
Yes, you slide it out.
Yeah.
You slide it out. As you slide it out, it kind of turns slowly to the left, and it reveals basically a wooden staircase that looks like it leads down into a cellar.
Well, this could also be a story. Story fit enough for a Miss Ashmore. Probably most likely just a ritual circle, though, I would imagine.
Could be related, but we'll have to find out. As the doctor said, we'll need more evidence.
Descending down... Sorry, continue.
This building does seem full of secrets.
We best check this one out. And I'm gonna make sure everybody's get ready, and then I'm gonna start descending the stairs with sword probably drawn.
Descending down the staircase, you would need to produce your own light, just so you guys know. For those of you that can't see in the dark.
We have
You got some
lanterns.
torches. Yeah, you got some lanterns and stuff. Descending down the staircase, the lantern light extending out over the cramped cellar. You find destroyed barrels and crates. And you also find the mangled corpse of a monstrous creature. It resembles a bear with rotten limbs and spines running down its back and neck. Additionally, a large ritual circle lays in the center of the room. It is scored and marked in several areas. Any glow of magic that it once had has been shattered and destroyed from its presence. On the wall, there's a scrawled note, stamped into place by a large metal spike of loose iron from part of the structure that's broken away. It says, the Grey Warden is coming.
Well, now.
How similar, if at all, does this one look to compare to the other ritual circle we were at?
when you look at it, there's aspects of it that are similar. The way that the runes are carved, its calligraphy, you feel like it was created by a similar hand, but its functions were different. It wasn't the same puzzle, essentially. So
Does it still have runes like the other one?
It doesn't have shiftable runes, but there are runes in the inner workings of the magic. It looks like this one involved the balancing of objects on different runes based upon what you can see. But it also looks like it's possible that the Grey Warden didn't actually reverse whatever the ritual was, like all of you did. It looks like the Grey Warden may have just force broke it and then killed the creature.
So the creature's dead then?
Yes, the corpse and there's a big bear-like creature in the center of the chamber that's dead.
Is there more moss growing down here? I'm gonna start checking out the bear.
And there is moss all over the corpse as well. The moss just seems to be growing from the ground out.
And the moss is still alive here?
Yes, it is still pulsing.
Max, would you mind, taking a look? I'd like to see if there's any residual magic left over there.
That would be my pleasure. And he'll take out the dragon shard. This is the handiwork of this Grey Warden we've been hearing about, I suppose. He does seem to be a formidable fellow if he did this by himself.
Yes, and he's quite smart as well if he figured out the way to reverse the process, or maybe not reverse it, but at least put a stop to it.
This seems... pardon me for saying so, but this seems more of a hack job than anything that would require much in the way of study or any sort of cleverness.
It's very possible this Grey Warden fellow brute forced his way through this one, hoping he had an easier time with it than we did. But it also looks like this circle was used for a different purpose. I doubt that it was used to transform someone into a monster, or at least in the same manner, but it was certainly done by the same hand.
Max will examine things through the dragon shard as they're talking.
There is some residual magic coming off of the ritual circle and off of the strange plant material that's kind of growing out of all the cracks in the ground, the moss. The bear itself isn't really showing anything anymore. It's just kind of a dead monstrosity now. And you're not noticing anything else in the chamber.
Is it apparent how it was killed?
You would probably need to study it up close and look at its wounds, which would be like a natural sciences thing, probably. Or a formal sciences. I'd take either one.
My dear doctor, is there any chance you might be able to identify the cause of this unearthly beast's demise?
I can certainly have a look. I do specialize in humans, though.
Oh, you sell yourself short, my dear doctor. Your specialties seem to run a bit further than that.
Fair point.
I'm gonna have gotten up to the bear, and I'm gonna grab it and try to maybe flip it over so we can see its belly. Something like that.
14.
See if there's
14? Yeah, you do find, studying it, Thare, you do find several wounds on it. It was stabbed in several places. Part of its belly was cut open, and it looks like probably some kind of iron blade was jammed into its heart.
It was repeatedly stabbed. I'd say what did it in was one to the heart here.
Can I look in there and see if there's anything?
You also notice on the claws and in the teeth, there's shards of metal It looks like it's also some kind of like iron material, or mostly iron material, as well as linked chain, like you would find on a suit of armor.
It does look like it fought back against something wearing armor, perhaps.
Seems this Grey Warden fellow came prepared.
Indeed. He appears to have been some sort of knight, perhaps?
Or just someone with access to a suitable armory. I would like to spend some time looking at the workings of the circle and just see if, like, there's anything I can glean from all the books I've read on magic to see if I can get what this was used for, or, like, how it was meant to create this creature.
Make a lore roll. Your target number is 12.
Max will also study the circle.
Hey, I got 13.
Nice.
You can make a lore roll as well, Max.
While they're looking it over,
Also
can
13.
I pull out that potion that's supposed to make you monstrous? Can I like look it over and see if there's any kind of runes or anything on like the cap or the wax or anything on there? Okay.
Sure. So both of you are able to tell that this ritual source is most... I would say that if you were going to like put its magic within a source tag from the powers, that it's definitely otherworldly. It's supernatural. It's magic that probably originated from another world or plane. It appears that it was probably similar in its intention, which was to create the magic that is inherent to the ritual circle, as well as transform the human into the creature, into the homunculus, whatever magical creature they wanted to make. You do both notice that there is more to the runes than just that purpose, though. It's also got like networking magic in it. So the ritual circles seem to have the ability to like communicate their energy to each other.
Does there appear to be any energy left in this one?
There is a little bit that you're detecting like with the dragon shard, but it's kind of like when you stoke the flame of a fire and there's just like some smoke that just like keeps coming out for a while. It's not really like effectively doing anything. It's just kind of wasting away.
Would I be able to tell if that residual energy is a result of its connection to other ritual circles?
Make another lore roll with a target number of 15. Don't forget you have momentum.
Yes. I don't think it would help a whole lot, so I'm just going to roll.
I mean, it takes the target number down 3.
Yeah. I got a 7, so it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
You
cannot tell.
Okay. For checks like this, is there a way to help each other, or should we?
You can assist. So technically, you could get an easy from having, like somebody else who's trained in lore assist you, and then you could also momentum on top of that.
Okay. I will keep that in mind for future.
Which would double easy.
Well,
Yeah, I've got 2 ranks. I've got 2 ranks in lore, so we could probably help each other in the future.
Cool. I have 1, but I'm pretty witty. Okay, Max will pull out his pocketbook from his coat pocket and make a sketch of the ritual circle and start taking some notes.
Okay.
Good
As they're discussing it. If we're going to keep doing this, it seems it would be helpful to have a reference point when we get to the future ones.
Yes, indeed. Would you agree, Max, that it doesn't seem like there's much more to do here, and all that's left is whatever seems to be connecting it to the others?
That would be my suspicion as well. It does not seem to be actively doing much at this point, although the moss in this area is still here, which indicates that the power of the circle does not seem to have been dissipated as thoroughly as the one that we encountered.
Perhaps there is still something left to do here.
Could it be because we cured the beast and he killed the beast? Just different methods of breaking?
Could be. We also don't know how long ago this creature was slain. It might have been fairly recently. It's possible that the moss hasn't quite receded yet.
My good doctor, is it possible you could give an estimate of the time of death of this creature? Within weeks or months, or that sort of thing would do.
I will give my best estimate.
Natural sciences. Target number is 12. This is pretty hard because of like the mossy monstrosity nature of it is making it more difficult to place. Yeah, you're not sure. It definitely hasn't been as long as all the skeletons. So it can't have been more than like a few weeks' time. But you're not sure like at what rate these things just decompose and stuff either. Yeah, because they're not like natural creatures.
I could just say not as long as the skeletons, for obvious reasons. I'm not sure how quickly things would decay here.
Perhaps we move on to the next spot on our list. Maybe finding the last of the circles will shed some light on this one.
Yes, I would say it can't hurt to learn some more information. At least we do know that the Warden fellow appears to be a recent development.
She'll put her hands on her hips and just kind of look around at the room, and she'll say, "Yes, we'll have to make sure we thank him when we see him. Perhaps I'll bake him a cake or something."
Well, there's confirmation that he knows what he's doing at the very least, because if we're postulating is true about having to do something with all these ritual circles before we can get into the mana, if he really got into mana without going through this magic, now we can kind of feel the scope of it, and he is quite powerful. Helped along by magic probably itself.
It's also possible that he had only started doing this work, and when he was found, after all, according to that note over there, it does seem like they knew. It seems like the Harlows knew he was here.
Yeah.
Perhaps he finished one or two circles, and then was captured. Or, like you said, Jensen, perhaps he found some other way in.
How did you put it? Brute force is how I would put it too. That was very well worded.
Well, if he can accomplish it, I think a lot of us certainly can.
So we go to the schoolhouse?
Yes, let's pay a visit to the school teacher, see what they have to say, if anything.
All of you exit to the square.
Matt, you said that all of the shards of metal and stuff we found in there were iron, right?
Yes, but they're like bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jensen, what's your sword made of?
Well, Iron whoops. What? Probably iron at that point, right?
Your scimitar is probably made of steel.
Yeah. Well, this is actually works steel. It's pretty light if you and like I'll like flip it out and I'll flip it so like I catch it like just balanced on my fingers on the flat of the blade, like with no effort, and then like kind of close it and hold it out to you.
Oh no, that's fine. I was just noticing that all of the shards of metal in that beast were iron. I wonder if these things have a weakness to just iron.
I don't know. It's possible.
It could
Steel might
explain.
not be it.
We're both fairly strong. It could explain why we struggled, and he was able to fell one himself.
What is also trouble is that the weapons have been treated with silver on the edges specifically because it's kind of like my whole profession, and it still did not seem to help. That's never happened before with a monstrosity like this, or like what we found.
I think it's also. Go ahead.
Have you dealt with many man-made monstrosities?
You could say that most monstrosities are man-made, really, in one way or the other.
Like
but
directly man-made?
That's a dicey thing to predict. Yes and no.
It's something I thought.
There's something else to this. That's why I got this potion. It's in my hand still. Yeah. There's something else going on with these types of, beasts. There's something more that I'm used to that I've never seen before.
Well, it's funny you say that, Jensen. I was just thinking that given the origin of Lambeth, and possibly Old Lambeth as well, we know that they're connected to the Fae, and I've certainly read in more than one book that the Fae have a distinct weakness to iron. Perhaps these creatures that we're fighting are Fae in some semblance of the word, perhaps some ancient connection. It's possible that they're Fae blood or something of that sort. Gives them that vulnerability, and perhaps the Grey Warden noted that, and that is where his success came from, as V said.
And then he would have a very good knowledge of Fae. He might even be somewhat of a descendant of those in my order, myself included.
Or there's the alternative of him being from Old Lambeth's time, and he's been stuck here all these years.
Right.
Perhaps he knew something of the Fae, of the original pact.
Can I see that potion?
Well, yes. I've been trying not to drink it, but I'll hand it over.
I'll take it. Can I go back to the corpse and find a decent shard of iron?
Sure.
Can I just uncork the bottle and I just want to pour a little bit on the iron to see if it reacts to the iron in any way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You take the shard and you tip it just enough to pour a little bit. It doesn't seem to react to it to you.
I'll pull out my imagine the scalpel I took from Dare is probably steel, right?
Yeah.
I'll take out the scalpel and just dip a little bit of what I poured out into it to see if it has any kind of different reaction from steel to iron.
No, it doesn't seem to.
No. It was worth a try.
Yes, definitely.
I'll give you back the potion.
Before I cork it again, I'm gonna smell it. I don't think I've actually uncorked.
It smells awful.
Yeah?
It smells awful. It smells like it's gonna taste awful.
Yeah. Cork it.
As all of you observe the cold surroundings of the square, And your party turns to make your way towards the schoolhouse. You see kind of this looming figure outside of it and the sets of desks along the inside. And as all of you move towards the door, you hear a voice from inside say, "You're late! You're late! Get to your seats!" And that's where we're going to end our session for the night.
And school will be in session.
Oh, no.
Next
session.
Next session.
School in session.
Good session, everyone.
Good time.
Interesting.
And,
It's fun meeting Mr. Lanahama.
He's a good guy.
Mr. Lanahama. Mr. Lanahama himself.
Damn it, Chris.
What?
The trickster in you.
Say Chris's character name 3 times fast.
I don't think we
No,
should.
that'll probably summon something. I don't want that.
I don't know about that.
Oh, thank you.
Chris just shows up like fucking Beetlejuice.
Exactly. No. It's in Bede's book, and
Yeah.
Charlotte reads it 3 times, but all of a sudden Dross is there.
Yeah, Joss is there.
That's strange. It has the same
Attack him.
Hassler printed 3 times in a row. Odd.
Odd.
Wonder why.
Bees attacking you guys like immediately.
Oh, no.